Hi, everybody. Oh, wait. Hi, everybody. Today we're gonna do some co-working, chatting a little bit, and eventually kind of reacting to whatever I'm watching, which we will do more of because I clicked on an episode of Rotten Mango, a newer one, and immediately said, "No, I have to watch this on stream," because right away there was already something I wanted to say towards that, and I was like, "No, this is going to be a good thing if I use it for my stream." But do check out Rotten Mango. She is amazing. She does amazing research with her team, and her videos are just all very great. Anyway, that's what we're gonna do. I have thought about a new thing as well, as in like I will hear the audio in the way that I'm hearing it, but you can at least see the video play. Of course, because I'm doing this, I don't know if you can hear it, but my laptop is already like doing overtime work. So if there are any lags, I'm so sorry, but it's literally out of my control. Anyway, I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're going to have fun, do your own little thing. But yeah, this is basically silence interrupted by me commenting on the things that I'm listening to, because I'm not gonna talk much either, as in like let's see. But anyway, yes. That's going to be it. I just have to finish two things that I'm working on, which is this belt that needs some macrame done. I just still need to figure out which type of pattern I'm using, because to make it this long as I have it, I need a easy pattern. And this watch that I have that don't I don't think I think I'm gonna use it like a like a cute necktie, but like a bow. Like a yeah. The ones that get it get it. If you don't get it, then you're not on the team. Um. Anyway, that's about it, and let's just get right into it, I guess. So let me just first of all, you're gonna see my entire setup now, because if I turn this off, no wait, if I turn this on and this off, oh no, where's it? Where is it? Why are you why is it not showing? Hello? That's annoying. Why is it not showing? It's why why are you forsaking me like this? What is going on? Jedes Mal muss ich mit dieser Kacke. I can't do this anymore. Okay, please. I need to mute this as well because I'm watching it. I'm so sorry if the video is not matching up the audio as well. I'm literally trying to play it at the same time because it doesn't work. I will repeat. I am trying to do things with whatever I have. Okay, this is not working anymore. Never mind. Never mind. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. You're just gonna listen to whatever I'm listening to, okay? You shut up. I I am listening to whatever I'm listening to. No. And I was like, oh yeah, if I do this and do that, oh yeah. Never mind. I will just listen to it, and you're gonna watch me do whatever. Put that video on yourself and watch it.
Have you ever heard of the term destiny swapping?
Yes, I have, and it's horrible. It's horrible. This is where my immediate thoughts are coming in. Also, like, wait. If I'm gonna do, if this is not working, wait. If this is not, yeah, no, why is it working now? Is it not working because you're kidding me? It's not working because the entire okay, let's see. I need to really put it aside. So, okay. Let me try. So this is, oh my god. My stream is lagging now because I'm doing this. I hate it. I hate every second of it. Hello. Do we need? God damn it. I hate this. Alright. Is it working? It's like literally.
Bada bing, bada boom.
You ever heard of the term destiny swapping? The term was thrown around a lot on TikTok at the end of last year. It's a term with the definition and the mechanisms of how do destiny swap, how it's done. They're still debated. Practically every TikTok that you see explaining exactly what destiny swapping is, you're going to see some sort of, well, that's not exactly what it is in the comments, and then a different explanation for destiny swapping.
I
One
think
person
it's
states,
in sync
"The
now.
definition is a little
Anyway.
dark and complicated. It involves
I need to
using
also
negative energy,
change
including jealousy, to impact someone's life and
change
take their
my
blessings," which is like
category.
very vague and ominous.
Yes.
Another person states, "A destiny swap occurs when one person tries to take another person's life, like their spiritual, gifts, finances, friends, or job for their own. Destiny swapping is usually rooted in jealousy and insecurity. They want to take what your future holds for you for themselves." Some say destiny swapping feels like someone is entering your life under the guise of being a friend, but you start noticing that they seem a little jealous of you. Like, that's how it always starts. While at the same time, they copy the smallest, minute details of your life. And this has nothing to do with gatekeeping. This is not just, "Oh, I love your jacket. Where did you get it? I'm going to buy
Why
the same
can I
bag
not
as
find
you today."
direction?
But this is copying your tiniest, little, smallest mannerisms, your habits. Small, I mean, everybody
Okay,
copies
I
everybody's
don't
mannerisms
know.
the longer you're hanging out, but it's just the small things that you don't naturally pick up. It's almost like they're
Whatever.
making an effort to emulate you. Small little stylistic choices. They say it's usually when someone becomes unusually focused on your life. Not just your clothes or your style, your entire life, your relationships, your routine that you think is mundane, decisions, why you make decisions. The admiration or curiosity starts feeling like they're doing a lab
How's
study
this?
on you. And that
How's this?
individual may also be condemning what you do, critiquing why you make certain decisions, but then they go ahead and they replicate it. They go and they do the same thing that you wanted to do that they talked you out of. And they gain the success for themselves
Okay.
that you had planned for yourself.
Alright,
One
guys.
person writes a long plea on Reddit. "Please, could you pray for me? I believe my former partner's new girlfriend has death."
Okay, so first of all, what I want to say about the destiny swapping thing is, first of all, it doesn't exist. And I say this as a woo-woo person, okay? Listen, I don't believe in it because I know very well the reason this happens is because you're just projecting so hard on somebody else and mirroring this other person, because for some reason the energy is just exactly what you want. Plus, some people, they resemble you in a way so much that you see them right in front of you, and you think, oh, like suddenly you behave like this person. I feel like, listen, and this happens so many times to me. Like I do mirror people, and I think something similar that happened to me once that I remembered, which was recent, was a colleague of mine who I really liked, and the thing is, I mirrored this person so hard. Every time I would stop interacting with this person, I was like, God damn it, what was that? Ew. And I can't turn it off either. And it's, for me, it was more of a, yeah, because for some reason I just mirrored this person. Um, and I guess it was because one, I like this person. Because the thing is, if you like someone, like truly like them and have interest in them, they will influence you in some ways. You know, when you're friends with somebody and you suddenly pick up their vocabulary and this person picks up your vocabulary the same way as their tastes kind of get picked up, or like not necessarily everything, but some things get picked up in the same way. For example, if you have somebody that you truly love, you are truly like liking and having this type of interest in, there's this weird thing of how somebody can look similar to each other, you know? And it's like the weirdest thing ever. I think it's like the most amusing phenomenon that you can find when it comes to human relations and like connections in general, but also humanity in general. I think that's very interesting, but it's the only thing that I can say about like which is a bit eerie in my opinion is when yeah is when if sorry is when people are being told your goals and they suddenly do the same thing simply because they're damn evil people, because simply some people are just evil, some people are just shitty, and they don't like you and they don't like themselves. That's why they have to pick whatever they want. And some people also, I want like to say, you have to stay, of course, nuanced and critical, yeah, in your brain. Some people are also having some type of mental issue as well, as in like mental like that also happens. I will not say anything more about that, but that also exists. That's why I'm like, every time I hear certain terms that are being used, especially as a trend type of thing, I'm like, God damn it. Like, you guys, it's either some type of weird psychosis you're going through. Just like with the AI stuff, for example, or literally you are feeling so unstable within yourself. You see somebody else and what you want from them, you literally copy them. For me back then, I remember an anime character I kind of copied for a little bit because I really liked this character for a while, was from this anime. It's actually an otome game. I think Il Ricardo something something something. It's like a classic. It's like an anime story basically, about this like musical school, and the main protagonist meets like these guys and they're all like orchestra competitive, blah blah blah, classical music. And there's this one character who's like more of the shy ones, more quiet ones. I think he was blonde haired, more like, you know, like more princey type of vibe, but also like this type of like very slow. And I, for some reason, just copied that, but out of fun, because I also wanted to see how far can I go with copying somebody else. That how far can I go with copying something that is not me? And I think this is also a weird thing that happens to a lot of people. Like, if you don't like, for you to not see that you're copying somebody, or for you to see very deliberately that you are copying somebody, because for some reason you're just very unstable with yourself, or because I don't know, you just never thought about anything and it's really really hard for you to think in the first place. Basically, yeah, because I see that a lot in people, the same pattern, and people take these type of terms as a trendy thing or whatever, like destiny swapping, or the like the entire thing with ADHD and neurodivergency. And yes, it is very it's a field that's not very researched as much as a lot of other things are, especially when it comes to women's health. But it's also very outdated and blah 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 blah. but this is the same thing as that, or like people saying, oh, I have this, I have that, or I blah blah blah. It's just a bunch of people not being able to critically think for themselves, about the entire thing, and about the entire world around them, and not being able to think critically at all, not able to know how to think, not able to be very stable within themselves. Because this is a pattern I see in so many things when it comes to these type of things that are trendy or whatever. Like, yes, there could be, of course, something about certain terms or whatever. Maybe there is something about destiny swapping. Then again, personally, I don't believe in it. I do know that there's certain people where I'm like, you just have to be careful. And the thing is, those are the ones that you need to stay away from. In general, general consensus you need to have within yourself. I know you can't see much while I'm talking. I just my hands being like this. But like, the thing is, if you ever find yourself surrounded by people that you don't want to be like, you have to leave them. You have to surround yourself with people that give you the opportunity, the chance, and the challenge for yourself to be even better than who you were before. If you're gonna be with somebody who's giving you the worst possible version of you, and let me tell you something, sometimes I still meet people where I'm like, oh my god, why did I say these things? That is not me. It's because, one, I'm somebody who's already I can feel very empathic, blah blah blah. I mirror somebody and I catch that that I'm suddenly becoming somebody that I really don't want to be, and I'm like, god damn it, no, I need to stay away from you. It doesn't even have to be something big. It's like, even like the most like minuscule thing ever. Let's say for some reason I'm around somebody who never says hello to anybody else, and suddenly I start not saying any hellos to anybody else who's entering the room, not because I'm feeling like tired and can say it, but because like, even if I'm feeling tired, I'm still gonna say hello to somebody, like, if like for my colleagues, as like, for example, okay? But if I'm suddenly around somebody where I'm like, usually like, I know this person behaves like this, and suddenly for some reason it kind of seeps into me, and I'm like, ugh, don't like this. That's also something where you have to have your boundaries up and be like, okay, this is not me. And then ground yourself and be like, hey, this is not me. I am somebody who greets people kindly, says hello, gives a smile. I am somebody who needs to take a deep breath, and I need to stay within myself and make a very clear wall, that so that this person doesn't come through to me, you know? It doesn't matter if you're somebody who's more sensitive or less sensitive to whatever outside is going on, because whether you want it or not, these type of things happen very unconsciously. You wouldn't even know. Because I've seen that in people that are also not with the same heart as me, being very sensitive, for example, to certain things, or whatnot. I still see that. You just don't really want to admit it, or you just have a little bit more of boundaries that are more stable or whatever. You can, like, it still happens, it's a very human thing, but it's like really dependent on how stable do you feel within yourself, how secure do you feel within yourself, how well can you think for yourself, how much do you know yourself. Because once you don't know, once you don't have, it's not even about having a guard up or anything like this, it's simply because of you not knowing yourself in this type of way and knowing how to go about your mind. And I know it's hard for people that especially are not used to it, still need to practice this, practice it. It takes time, it takes, as I said, practice. It takes a lot of routines. It takes you to try again and again. There's no such thing as failing once and then leaving it as that. Don't do that, because then you're, as I said, you're gonna end up being around people that will use you, that will do this weird what people call destiny swapping and project onto you and everything else, plus you give the same amount or even less or whatever, you give something back that is similar, and that is something that will be kinda to you. No, it's not just kinda, but it will be to your detriment. Because I was thinking about this recently as well, how I am, like, every time I'm streaming, I think like, oh my god, I'm so different when I'm streaming, in a way of, because I am kind of more like alone, and I do go around things very differently when I'm around a lot of people. Then again, I have been told that apparently I'm not that different from my streaming me and me outside of this, which is kind of surprising, honestly, because I thought I was being a bit different. Apparently, I'm not, in the eyes of the other people, but in the eyes of myself. But as me being the biggest critic I can give to myself, and allow myself to a point, I'm like, I feel like I'm different, but I can also probably think about it in a way of like, I'm not that different actually. If I were to think about it more outside of myself, I don't think I'm that different from streaming me. It's just that I laugh a bit less, or you don't see as many reactions as you would probably if I were to be interacting with people, like, in general. Yeah, I just, also my stream is lagging like crazy. I'm so sorry if everything is cutting out in between and whatever, and you can't hear any sentence that I fully said. I'm not sorry at this point. I don't care anymore. I want to have a better equipment. Okay, so if you want, and can, I have a Throne up, I have Ko-fi up. You can support me there. I would very much appreciate it and feel very grateful for it. Anyway, just as a side thing. Anyway, but yeah, like, that's why I'm like, God, it's like, it's so like, people just like taking these type of terms that are especially trendy, not only terms but anything else. I was certainly something I recently seen was the whole thing about like gothic, gothicness, basically, how like the emo gothic, very like type of aesthetic has transitioned to mainstream, and now everybody is wearing it. And listen, there's some that are probably gonna have some type of awakening with this type of thing, because that's where they see like, oh, this is actually something that I like, and especially because it's gotten mainstream, maybe that's some type of weird entry level for them. Back then, at the same time, because certain people feel so unstable with themselves, they don't know themselves as much, it takes something in the mainstream for them to actually accept this type of part within themselves sometimes, right? And that's why sometimes these type of things that are in the mainstream are also more of an entry level. But it's also very difficult when things like this are in the mainstream or like trendy for a while and that's it, because this way there's always like this weird convoluted outlook on these type of things. For the gothic thing, for example, or anime stuff, for example, or like a lot of things, but let's stay with the gothic thing. How a lot of people are wearing this as like basically as a aesthetic now. And I've seen a lot of teens wear it and whatnot, and I've seen how it's more like this entire aesthetic. You can find it everywhere because it's literally in the mainstream. And people are like, oh, that's so hot, blah blah blah. And as soon as you actually meet somebody who's truly gothic in this type of way, because gothic doesn't mean just the appearance, gothic is also just the way of an attitude that you have about certain things in life and your interests, right? This is the same way as punk goes, or for example rock, because rock is not just music in a way, or like certain other type of things. And that is very similar. I feel like, especially for gothic and punk, these two things are very political in a way as well. And people oftentimes mistake like these type of things as something that's just an appearance, just an aesthetic. But the thing is, it's very deep within a certain type of attitude that you will have, and it goes even further beyond that, because the ones that I see oftentimes are literally what I define as truly gothic and truly punk. It's when literally something so beautiful in your brain happens because you think, you know, and you feel great about yourself in a way of also like, for example, people like when you think about gothic or punk, would you think about a biker gang? But if you think about a biker gang, do you think about somebody who's just like violence? But do you think about that? No. Do you? Because when I think about it, I think about really, really kind people, really, really considerate people towards other people that help them. That's what I think when I think about this. But I also understand that there's also people outside of that that, of course, don't have to necessarily vertreten here. What do you call this? I don't know the English word right now, but like to take up this type of image in this type of same way. Some people are just a very different type of image of whatever this might be, or like are just whatever the type of people that they are, that gets transferred to the image of, for example, gothic people or punk people. That's usually what I think about, because when somebody can dress casually gothic or punk, and you wouldn't see that as not a person who's usually in the mainstream. You wouldn't be able to like see it. But like, because gothic people don't necessarily have to wear everything black, punk people also don't need to necessarily wear anything in black or have certain things that make the entire like community up in this type of way. Because as I said, there's certain imagery towards like certain subcultures that don't need to be presented as that. It's the same way as, for example, generally like LGBT. You don't have to be somebody who is like always on very like, you listen, I am a part of the community, okay? As you can see in my tag, it's literally LGBTQ friendly, right? I am queer, but I am not somebody who goes around like with like everything rainbow on her. It's just like, I do have pin, I do have the flag, but even the flag, I don't have it in my room, because I'm like, I know who I am. I know what I'm representing. I know the imagery of the subculture. No, sorry, that's not a subculture, but but talking about the topic, I know what it means to be queer. I know what it means to be in the LGBT community. I know what it means. I don't want to look away, and I will never look away. And it's the same way as far as gothic or punk goes. I just know this is who I am. I don't have to necessarily be inside of like, let's say, the subculture or whatever, like when it comes to gothic or punk. But I still know like I would probably count myself in some way into it. That would go not necessarily with like any subcultures or whatever, but it's the same way as people like do like being very political about their things, or religious or whatever. You don't have to present yourself like this necessarily. At the same time, there are people out there who present themselves very, very falsely, because for some reason it's mainstream, for some reason it's trendy, for whatever reason. It is their choice to be doing this, the decision to be doing this, and it's a weird choice to make, but it's still there. And it's you who has the responsibility to think clearly, whoever I am seeing, is this really true? Will I believe in this? Will this influence me? Will this influence me in the way that the entire outlook of the entire thing will change? And so, you know? This is the type of thing that happens. That's why I feel like the destiny swiping thing, it is a very, you need to please think clearly about it, because the only thing that can there is the only destiny that can be swapped is you swapping it with yourself, because you don't see through somebody else doing that to you. You don't see it through yourself being so unstable and insecure within yourself that you maybe copy somebody else in this type of way, because it's fine to be influenced by somebody in a way of feeling inspiration. If I see, for example, because it's very normal, certain things, they influence you because it's inspiring to you, but it shouldn't take up a thing, it shouldn't take you up to copy it in necessarily. An inspiration to yourself is something that will shape you who you are, but not necessarily be you from whatever you copied. For example, like I'm thinking my fashion, okay, fashion, for example, Vivienne Westwood. I love the brand. I love a lot of other brands. Then again, like, okay, maybe not the brand, but I love a lot of pieces, because it's different to say. You have to be very nuanced. It's different to say that I love the brand and I love the fashion of it. For me, I love the fashion because it's like it's just the influence of who Vivienne Westwood was in the first place, of who she got inspired by, not only her but her entire team being inspired by Vivienne Westwood, and the people that are inspired by Vivienne Westwood, blah 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 blah. You know what, it all flows within a thing, but it doesn't make it the same thing. It gets it has the type of affect to it that like kind of works together. You know, it's not the same in this type of way. That's why, like, if you see something and that's just like a wow, like for example, this happens to me a lot of times, as in like somebody is for some reason influenced by me. I'm so saying this as an example of personal experience. One time I wore an outfit which I really love. Listen, my favorite color is purple, violet. Okay, purple. And I just like a lot of colors. This is exactly why I would also say, like, because I don't wear certain clothes in this certain type of way, I wouldn't count myself as somebody who is, for example, like, I don't know. One time, I had to ask a friend, like, do you think, not only just a friend, but somebody I just knew, right? Like this. Like, do you think I come across as somebody who's queer? Because do I look queer to you? This person was like, I don't know. Like, usually I get a I don't know, because we're already used to seeing you. But I think the first time somebody told me, because they were asking like about my orientation, I was like, I don't really have it. Like I am a part, but I don't like. I just count myself as queer. And this person was like, yeah, I can see that. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what do you mean? You can see that. But yeah, for example, like in some people, you just see certain things, certain elements that inspire them to be in a certain direction that it's aligned with them a bit more than you see it in other people, you know. It takes quite the keen eye and the practice eye to see a lot of things within these type of things, but it's kind of funny because yeah. But anyway, yeah, that was an example. I was going back to the fashion thing and color. I once wore like a very beautiful combination. Oh my god, it's my favorite top, and I can't fit into it anymore. Unfortunately, my body has changed. But I had this very beautiful sheer lilac type of lilac top. It was so beautiful. It had beautiful ruffles. It's like pleated, very beautiful details, which I miss. That fashion doesn't do this anymore. Like at least the fashion that you can just ready to buy like this in any type of store. Like right now, of course, it's Y2K stuff and very like this type of style, but I still miss that. Like I still miss it very well. But I wore this top together with a cord, like a fine cord, skinny. More okay, no, like okay, not really skinny. That okay, well, it was skinny because back then we had a lot of skinny pants, but skinny, high waisted, like mustard yellow pant on. It was a nice pant. Also doesn't fit me anymore, but in fact, it's actually in the pile of my project. It's in my project pile. Anyway, but that was such a banger outfit. Like I love that outfit so much, together with nice earrings and stuff. But yeah, like that was the first time somebody like very in my face said, oh, that's a nice combination, that's a nice outfit, wow, like I'm blown away by this. Actually, I will take this as inspiration, as like I will copy you actually, which was very fun because I maybe not, I don't know, yeah, because taking inspiration, like if you were to copy me, it would literally mean that you want to be able to have the same pieces put together as this type of outfit. But if you were to be like, okay, I'm inspired by this, you'd be like taking into consideration to be like, yes, this person was wearing this color as an outfit, and these type of pants with something that's more like roughly detailed but also wider because it's like a wide top as well, blah blah blah, and take all these type of things into consideration. You know, this is how things work, guys. This is how you need to think when it comes to things that are inspiring to you. And it's a bit sad that I have to say it like this, but but this is exactly what I'm saying, you know. A lot of times it's the fact that you need to figure out how clear are you gonna be with how you use certain words, because yes, I know that this person that said it to me meant inspired instead of copy, because the way they were dressed at some point, that I don't remember if I ever saw this person dressed like that and this type of color combination. But it's different when you say copy or inspiring to yourself, or like influence, you know. It's very different. And I know it's like, and I have had it so many times where people like go like the nitty gritty, like, well, listen, I know it's the nitty gritty, but you have to do that to yourself, because the certain ways that you go on about how you say certain things are whatever is going to limit you, okay? And because like simply because you don't extend your world in this type of way, your world to like with the words, because if you were to always just say like, oh yeah, just copy, even though in your heart you mean something else, you will believe that, and at some point sometimes it becomes a weird convoluted thing that translates into the actions and your like life experience. So if you were to say constantly like, let me copy that, like, you know, like I don't even know what to say. It's, for example, if you're writing something, yes, you can just copy and paste something and leave it at that. But you can also be like, okay, you would copy and paste it, but just as a reminder, because you want to be inspired to write and influenced from this entire sentence that you're like, that you're gonna write it in your own words, right? It's not gonna be fully like copy or anything like that, but you can still like write it very differently. And I'm not saying just like adding some words here and there that would change the structure of the sentence or something. I mean like truly like, say, for example, if I say, okay, and you say that with me, if I say I feel like shit today, I feel like shit today. No, actually this is exactly the thing. If I were to say I feel like shit, but the thing is, it's different when you say I feel like shit today in the very moment because I just woke up, you know? It's very different. I know it's longer. It's a longer string of thoughts, of words that you're putting together, but it's better because it's clearer to say, I feel like shit today because for like I didn't sleep well, for example, versus when you say I feel like shit. You know, because if you were to then continuously say throughout the throughout the entire day, say I feel like shit, I feel like shit, it eventually translates at some point into like I am this or whatever, because I know very well that people are not practiced in saying I feel like shit, I am shit, because that's not the same either. It's the same way as if I were to say, oh, I am angry. Like, yes, the fact states I am angry, but the truth is that I am, and is even a much better fact, is that I am feeling. Okay, that's not a. Is that an English sentence? I am feeling. I am feeling. Ich bin fühle. Ich fühle. No, I don't think that's an English sentence. I feel. If you were to, sorry, you feel. If you say you feel, if you say, oh, wait, if you say, oh, sorry, that was a very loud gulp. If you if you say you feel angry, it's very different, you know. Because maybe this is also a little bit of a difference between people that speak more languages, because sometimes I feel like, I mean, yes, it is literally, I think, proven in a lot of papers that I've not read, but I can just tell that when you are able to speak different languages, or if you're learning towards it, or if you have grown up with it, you can see certain type of contextualized things a little bit better, clearer, because you would have to translate certain things, because it wouldn't make sense for me to say I am feeling, even though yes, languages are very different because certain things just don't make sense. But if I were to translate it in German, which is my language, because English is my second language, I would have to go ich bin fühle, which goes I am feeling, but that sounds so wrong in German. Even if I were to, like, this is the grammatical sentence, by the way, it would be like ich bin fühle mich, which is wrong. If I were to say I am feeling, it would be in German translated to ich fühle mich. Wait, what? What am I? I'm so confused now. I am feeling. No, wait. Fucking, oh my god. What the fuck am I talking about? No, it was right. I am feeling. If I'm saying I'm feeling, then it's right. Because, oh my, what the fuck? Sorry. I thought in my brain it suddenly didn't make sense. See, this is exactly what I'm saying. This is literally proving the entire thing that I was just going on about. Like, even if I'm mistaken in my grammar right now and translation and whatever, listen, it's still the same point of if I were to translate it properly into my language, I would be like thinking about it again and again. Does it really make sense? Is it really right? You know? Because it was right to say I am feeling a certain way. But okay, but sorry, this is the thing that okay, I got confused. Wait, this is the thing I was saying. If you say I am this and that, I am sad, you're saying ich bin traurig. No, wait, you're not. Yeah, you're saying ich bin traurig, but then you're like, there's something missing, because to say that I am sad, it's like, it could be like, of course you're stating a fact of you're feeling sad, but if you were gonna take it apart like this, it's describing as if almost your like sadness on its own. You know what I mean? Oh my god. But you know what I mean? You know, as if you're saying like, I am sadness. I am sad all the time. I am just you know? It's like as if were an inside out character. Your sadness, your anger, your jealousy, whatever. These type of, you're not this one emotion, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Oh my god, I got so confused with the entire language thing. But if you were to specify, this is what this is about, okay? If you were to specify and say, I am feeling, then it's so much clearer in your brain to be like, okay, maybe it's not for right now, maybe it's for the moment, whatever, you know? Instead of saying I am sad, you're saying I'm feeling sad, and it's even better because then this way you're able to feel certain things better, because this is the way you're presenting it to yourself and saying it to yourself, instead of saying, oh, I'm sad, or I'm angry, or what I am happy, I am feeling happy. Because to like, this is exactly the same thing as people going like, oh, I want to achieve happiness. But yeah, that's right, but happiness is also a feeling that you have, just as sadness is. Like, imagine people were to be like, I want to be able to be sadness, you know what I mean? That is like, doesn't make sense for me. That's why it's like always a weird thing when people are going, I want happiness, like like, you're right, but what you probably are meaning is more like, maybe you want more harmony, you want more peace, maybe you want more contentment. Is this the nomen of that? Is this that no? Is that? Yeah, but it's weird to say that, right? You don't want to say like, I want sadness, I want to feel sadness. Like, you don't even say I want to feel sadness. You say I want sadness. The same way you would say I want happiness. Like, yes, translated over so many years, decades, and societal ways, we understand what it means when somebody says I want happiness. But at the same time, you need to think about it for yourself, because what does it mean for you to be like, I want happiness? Because in reality, happiness and feeling happy is an emotion, is something that feels very momentarily, and it's something that you need to keep up with, because that is an emotion that is just there. It happens just like everything else. It can also be coexisting with other feelings. It can also mix with other emotions. That's why there's no way, for example, for you to really have happiness, because there's no such thing as having certain emotions. Yes, you have them in the moment, you're feeling them, but they will leave you again. For example, like, yes, grief is an emotion, but grief is also a certain type of state, right? I am grieving not like constantly in very different ways, but it's also mixed with so many other things. It is a state as much as it is a emotion that you have. So to go back to this entire video that I'm actually reacting to, what I really wanted to say, because it's the most important thing, is destiny swapping doesn't really exist. Maybe you can refute me all you want with everything you can, by trying to counter. Sorry, ich habe das auf Deutsch gesagt. To counter. Content is countering. But to say that to me, because you cannot, like, I've seen it, and I've seen this type of behavior, and I have seen this in others, and I have seen it in myself, not in the way that where I would say like, oh, destiny swapping. No, it was this simply the thing about, as one, the experience of somebody else doing that to me, suddenly like behaving in a type of way that I behave, which is really freaking weird, or which is funny because usually which is funny because it doesn't happen that much. Because I would say it's quite hard to handle copying me when it means that you would have to face yourself so much, because there's no way. If people are already like overwhelmed by me saying and talking in this type of way, you're yeah. But usually that's why usually it comes out of, I don't know, certain ways that I handle situations or my appearance especially. Just like a little stated fact, right? How I observed my own life in the way I move within myself and how I see others move around me. And also, I have done this as a second thing, yeah. I have done this to other people in the past, especially because that's where I felt even more like not very stable within myself to be like, oh. But then oftentimes that was more of a thing where I had to say like, oh, actually, I think it's because I need to embrace this side. Or maybe that's because there's something about this that I want to also have. And that's why I have to think, oh, I am maybe copying something, but that's not good, because I don't want to be somebody that is copying people. I don't want to be somebody else. That is nightmare. I want to be me. So what does it mean to want to be me? It means that I have to think properly, consider myself and look at myself and truly hold myself accountable and be vulnerable in this type of way. That's why for me, usually out of my experience, these type of things that I've seen back then in the past, a lot of times were more of a very short-lived thing. I'm so glad. Like, oh my god, I'm glad. But I am so glad. I would have no. I hate not being needed. That would be horrible. I can't deal with that, because there's nobody outside of me where I would say, yes, I would copy you. But there's plenty people outside of me that I look with so much admiration that I say, you are something so motivational and inspirational to me. For example, best example, Michael Jackson, okay? Back then as a kid, best example, Michael Jackson, okay? And I wasn't a child that really loved to whatever, but Michael Jackson, for example, I had a friend like whose like family really adored Michael Jackson, and she of course also adored Michael Jackson a lot, and because of that influence, I also understood a few more things about Michael Jackson that I could as a kid. But now it's coming. Oh, it's all slowly coming back again, and I guess because of the age and the process of time and everything, I am so blown away, because as a child, if I wasn't like that aware of this, but I do know it. He was an amazing person. And there's at one album that I truly listened to up and down, which is actually I would want to show you this, okay? Because I think it's important. If I have it. If I have it here and it's somewhere, okay? Where is it? Am I blind? Eh? Is it? My Michael Jackson CD. I have bad. I can find bad. Where's my? What the heck? I can't believe it. Why can I not?
Where's my Michael Jackson CD? What the fuck?
It's gone. Where is it? What? What do you mean? Eh? Where's my album? This is the wrong album. Where's my album? The fuck? What the heck? I recently was listening to it as well, so where is it? Okay, I can find it. But you know, it's the album with Jam and Remember the Time and everything. Wait, let me show you the cover. I think at least I can do that. Okay. And it was one of the most beautiful album covers ever. Because it's so intricate. I love looking at it. It's this one. You can see it. Can you see it? I don't know because I can't see my own screen right now. But yeah, it was this one. This Dangerous. It's the Dangerous album. For example, like it influenced me so much in a certain type of way. For example, now especially, where I'm like, oh yeah, there was something about this. Or for example, Princess Diana was, you know, these type of things, and looking at it, how it's inspiring me, I am looking at myself a bit more, and I'm like, okay, what can I take out of this to form it in a shape that would be befitting of me. Not me shaping into whatever it is. It's the best metaphorical but also factual thing is you don't want your clothes, you don't want to fit your clothes. You want to the clothes need to fit you, okay? Not the other way. Yes, certain pieces are amazing and you try, but the it's either you altering it and shaping it so that it fits you, yeah, but there's no such thing as you fitting the clothes. And this is the same way. Why do you want to fit into the mold of somebody, which is weird, but also a Junji Ito story, which for me was also the most weirdly enough impactful one of his stories for some reason. And I don't know why. This one I remember the most. I know he has great stories, Junji Ito, but sorry, Junji Ito. But for some reason, for me, that wall mount mold story was something that really whatever. But yeah, like, why do you want to fit somebody else? No, you need to fit yourself. But you can take inspiration from so many other ways, motivation, whatever it is, but especially inspiration in some way to have it mold you in the way that fits you. Okay? But of course, take it with caution. You don't, as I said, and I will say it and repeat it again, why do you want to take the entire bowl of candy, even though there's candy inside that you don't want to take and eat and have? You know, I know if you were to go trick-or-treating, there's no such thing as you being able to choose truly, like, unless there's somebody who's handing you a bowl, like, pick something. But usually people don't do that, right? If you were going to trick-or-treating, it's either you are like, oh, I will take the candy and just later on not eat it and give it to somebody else, or I would just keep the candy and let it mold, rot, whatever. Okay, this is the same principle basically. Why are you taking the entire candy if there's candy inside that you don't want or is not good for you because it's like giving you allergies? Or I mean, candy in general is not good for you, but you know what I mean. Yeah, why? You don't have to take everything I'm saying. You can look at it and be like, oh, there's more things being added to the bowl, and I see maybe there's certain things that I see that I like to take, or certain things that kind of look like they would be fun to take, you know, because sometimes you also figure out what you like if you're trying out things, because for some reason this one candy wrapper talk to you a bit more than the other candy wrapper. But yeah, this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. So when you're ever like thinking about seeing this type of stuff with destiny swapping, please think about yourself. Think like, is this even like, would I be susceptible to something, to the simple word as destiny swapping, and why? And why? And if you feel the inkling of it's because I don't feel like there's a better solution for me to just take whatever I'm given, instead of looking at myself in more detail and more clarity, that's where you have yourself even more on the nose, because that is literally already like the biggest flag that you can give to yourself. As soon as it doesn't have to be with this type of, only with destiny swapping. It's like anything, even when it comes to AI stuff. If you see something and you're like, yeah, take that. Yeah. What do you mean? It's, you know what? It shows me that you're not able to like think if there's like, no. It's not the fact that you're not able to think. You are able to think. It shows me that you're not used to something else, and that you've been only given this one thing continuously. That it shows me that you've been conditioned to something very specific in your brain, whether it's from somebody else or something you've done to yourself, only to yourself. Because the thing is, somebody could have said something to you, and then you internalized that, you conditioned yourself upon that, and kept doing that to yourself. You kept allowing that to just be in your body. Because something somebody else says about me, I could be like, yeah, okay, that's you, and that's it. I don't care. Best example, one time somebody said like, oh, and I was in my teens, which, yes, and that's something a lot of adults do, right? When they do that to teens, which is horrible. Or not just adults, but other teens or whatever, like just kids as well do that. Everybody does that, because you're not keeping yourself in some type of check and thinking and being considerate. But somebody once said to me, like, oh, you don't seem to have any curves. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, in my brain, I was like, what do you mean? Like, it wasn't that I felt insecure from it. It was more of a, I kept ruminating about it, because I was like, that feels so wrong. Because I know very well that I have curves in some way, and especially now as my adult body, I do have curves. It's just like, maybe you don't see it as much as I do. The other thing is, I kept ruminating about this one thing, because I was like, why? But it was because it was bothering me, because I didn't like the fact that I couldn't talk to this person and say like, I don't like the fact that you said that, and it's not a good thing that you said that. You know what I mean? So that's what happens in your brain sometimes. It still happens to me, but it's just like, I'm presenting this to you because you need to think about it properly. So yeah, and I've been talking about this, what? For how long have I been talking about this entire thing? For an hour already. Because it was so important to me to just talk about this entire thing in general. With my entire thing happening. But anyway, just keep listening to it. I will probably have to, like, oh, wait. For an entire hour, I haven't been doing anything. I was just yapping. Let me also show you. You can't even see because I'm sitting like this now. It's fine. It is okay. Is it? You can't see my head. It's fine. I'm just looking at my phone. Wait. Like this. This way you can see. Wait. Something's not right. Oh, it's because of the needle. I think I need to actually. What do I do? This keeps lifting up when I. Can I do this? Yeah, I just need to be careful. I have a needle sticking out. Don't do that. Be careful. Like, I mean, if you do that, be careful. Yeah. This angle is not flavorful. What am I saying? Let me do it like this. You can see what I'm doing. Oh, oh, oh. Is that better? I think that's better. Oh. Yeah, this.
The original poster writes about how she was into the occult for a long time. She was reading from this very trusted psychic. This is like May of 2025. And she gets this reading, and the reader is telling her that she's going to get pregnant with a little baby boy with her boyfriend at the time. The baby boy will be born February 26th. And she.
Sorry, it's not.
After that, my ex. He cheated on me with this girl that he had known for a week. Got with her the day
Okay,
after
the video is
ended.
like synchronized with the audio,
I
so
believe
I'm
she
sorry.
practices witchcraft. He's like made a few comments about it. But anyway, guess who found out they were pregnant with a little boy in May of 2025 and gave birth in February of 2026? The new girl. She says since then she's faced constant job rejection that she cannot get over. She feels drained, as if living the same life over and over again, getting into arguments with her family, facing financial difficulties.
Sorry, I have to say something about this. The thing is, when you encounter something like this, yes, it's gonna be like, oh my god, why is this like happening? Like even during the same time and stuff like that. But that's exactly what I said. Some people, for some reason, they project onto you so badly that there's something that they project onto you so badly. They cannot handle the fact that you are having something else that they want, you know, or they never like thought about it. Plus, especially like, basically, this goes into the category of I am feeling so envious, I'm feeling so jealous, it consumes me so much. I project up onto somebody that I have to have this life. And we've seen this in a lot of movies and TV shows and whatever, like in real life, these type of things happening, right? And how does it always go, right? You know.
She's like, is this destiny swapping? She feels like it is. One person asks, spirituality then.
Nope.
Is destiny swapping real? I strongly believe my friend is trying to destiny swap with me. Every time she complains about something, the same thing she about miraculously starts happening. And then it kind of resolves in her. She kind of solves that problem in her own life when it's unfolding for her. This has been happening for years about multiple different things across all different things like love life, financial problems, family problems, and now career related stuff as well. Please help me. I am desperate. Like, how do I solve this? It seems difficult to differentiate.
Basically, if you want to solve something like this because you see somebody doing that to you or somebody else, you have to remove yourself from this person. Like, not even saying, you don't necessarily even need to say something to them, just remove them from your life. No matter how much you love them, there's no such. When you meet these type of people, the love for yourself needs to transcend the love for them. You know, you can love somebody, but this doesn't justify certain actions, you know.
See, it's common. Like, sometimes friends will dress similar. Sometimes friends will be in the same industry. But someone who's doing everything They want to dress like you, they want to eat like you, they want to go into the same field as you. An example is an acquaintance who begins adopting your style, career path, and even mannerisms right before your own progress halts. That's when someone's trying. Someone comments, someone tell Jeff Bezos to watch out because if I figure this out, it's over for him. But one Reddit comment is reassuring. They write, for reference, nobody can steal your identity. Your fate is tied to you, and you can't really tamper with it in this way. If it would be possible, it would take a phenomenally skilled practitioner, not just Joe Public. Others say, no, don't listen to this person. It's very real and it's very serious. However, it's also serious for the person trying to destiny. They say the person who wants to destiny swap is going to suffer misfortune because fate works really hard to restore itself, and the person who wanted the swap will usually suffer the consequences. Typically, once the destiny swap is reversed, because it is always reversed, that person will eventually lose everything that they've gained as a result of the exchange. So what if they do? Like, what if they successfully destiny swap? One TikToker ominously, the most dangerous part of destiny swapping is they want to experience the predetermined course of events. So it goes from wanting a piece of your destiny to wanting to be the only person that has your destiny. They want you to not even the same course. They want to be the only one to get to that destination. They have now decided that's my destination, and I want to be the only one to get there. And of course, to be the only one, they gotta take you out full. That is what a lot of people believe may have happened to a famous influencer in Mexico, Valeria. It's believed by many netizens that someone that was so close to her, was so jealous of her, wanted to live her life, wanted to.
What the heck? No. I clicked on something accidentally. Accidentally clicked on something else. No, it's starting again.
The term was thrown around a lot on TikTok at the end of last year. It's a last just under an hour, about 55 minutes, and the majority of the live stream today is pretty like there's nothing out of the ordinary occurring, except the fact that Valeria wants to go home, like she just wants to go earlier, but she's staying. Poison her. There's a guy looking. So there's this side conversation happening throughout the entire live stream.
Synchronizing.
And the employee is telling her, I don't know if to live and was looking for you. He's like, are you Valeria? And I was like, no, but she's gonna be back in an hour. She'd gone to the doctor, and he's like, I have a package for her, very expensive. The employee's like, I'll take it, like that's my boss. I'm gonna come back to the salon in an hour. He said, no, I have to give it straight to Valeria, so I can't with you, but I'll be back.
Okay. She found out about this her live stream?
She found out a little bit before, and she's explaining to her live stream viewers what's happening and why she's still at the spa, even though there's no customers anymore. It's just her and her employee waiting for this mysterious delivery man, and she doesn't know what it is, but her employee was like, it's like an expensive
I'm trying to sync the
like,
video,
he
okay?
didn't say who it was from. Like, he didn't say anything. He just said he had
I think it's fine. No, it's not.
15 minutes into the live stream, a delivery man walks in with said mysterious present and asks if she is Valeria Marquez.
God damn it!
Yes, and she mutes the live stream.
Do we see
It's fine.
You just see her. And right then and there, after she does it, the man opens fire and shoots her first in the chest, then twice in the head, killing her on her own TikTok live stream. At some point, and I'm not sure the exact statistics, there came a point where, you know how we have WAGs, wives and girlfriends of athletes. There became this narco culture where there's almost like WAGs for narco.
The wives and
girlfriends of the biggest narcos, like the biggest traffickers, cartel members.
And they're famous?
Yeah, they're famous, widely
Oh
known.
yeah, like the
El Chapo's
yeah,
wife
yeah,
is the most famous one. Yeah, she is like kind of symbolic of this exact lifestyle and term that we're about to get into. And I think it has to do with the fact that, I mean, I'm not sure exactly on the exact statistics because I don't think they're filing taxes and identifying themselves, but I'm not sure exactly how many traffickers are women, but I would imagine most narco traffickers are still predominantly men. So naturally, they date people, identify those people. You see almost this lifestyle around it. There is a slang term that's used to reference some of them,
Oops.
and our researchers say it's like a very common term. It's not like derogatory or anything, but it's buchonas. So it comes from the word of like a very high end, well loved liquor brand from the Sinaloa cartel that they all drank.
Oh, okay.
It's like confusing. It's hard to describe the
They
word.
called
Okay.
the girlfriend and the wives that term.
Buchonas, but yes, but it's also a lifestyle.
Oh.
So it's a word that became popular in Sinaloa, Mexico. At first, it's like a way to describe the very extravagant girlfriends of new age narcos. So again, like Emma from El Chapo, like El Chapo's wife, right? And it can broadly be referencing all narco wives and girlfriends. Like some people get to categorize anyone who dates any narco, okay? Or it can just be referencing a very specific type of girlfriend who dates a trafficker. Usually they are identifiable, and I was like reading through a lot of the translated, almost like historian type articles that were written. So people who are studying these trends in Mexico, like Mexican journalists who are studying the rise of the narco culture and narco world, usually they wear tight and flashy clothing. Understated is not the goal. They like brand names, typically Versace and Louis Vuitton. Those are like the two. Long hair, long nails, Coke bottle body proportion. Makeup is done in a very dramatic fashion, heavy on the eyeshadow, eyeliner, fake lashes. Usually there's a lot of emphasis on breast augmentations, liposuction, BBLs. I will say there is a link between the cartel and cosmetic surgery since many cartel traffickers are known to pay for their girlfriend's cosmetic surgeries and sometimes all of their girlfriends. One famous surgeon was interviewed by journalists and he said, there was one single high up cartel member who came in, paid for 30 women's different surgeries, all paid in cash.
His 30 girlfriend?
I don't
Dang,
know if it's all at the
that's
same time, but it seems like in a
crazy.
short span of time. You would have to think that there's some overlap. Sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's not as, I guess, relevant, but the word buchona now means a lot of things. So at first it was basically just anyone who dates a trafficker, but then it transforms into, okay, well, it's the type of women who date a trafficker and they all have a certain look to them. Think like Kim Kardashian, Sanchez look. Then it was, no, it's anyone involved in the narco
Oops.
lifestyle that is a woman. So it's like an aesthetic, right? It's like, how Y2K is an aesthetic. This is kind of the narco aesthetic. It's more like a blanket term for a lifestyle. Affiliated with cartels or not, it's just it's to describe a woman who likes to show off what God and her surgeon may have given her. There's nothing wrong with that. And someone who doesn't hide the fact that they have very large personalities, like a woman who doesn't hide the fact that she's very vocal and strong, and they like to party and they like to meet people, including men. And like, what's wrong with that? That is a woman's prerogative after all, okay? But one Mexican reporter describes the lifestyle as they represent glamour and authority in their own way. You have these
What?
powerful women. It's not this Mexican woman who is
Sorry, not watch
submissive
the
without
video, but
money.
watch the
These
what
women have
I was
Chanel,
doing.
Gucci. It's a search. It's almost a search for an identity of power. There was even a show called Las Buchonas, which followed the lives of 4 women with ties to cartels. I guess it's kind of like Mob Wives. That's the vibe I get. It's like Mob Wives.
There's
Like,
a
we
show
lived in
like
time where
that?
we were obsessed with Mob Wives. Like, we wanted to know who was dating which mob boss, who was in federal prison. You know what I mean?
Different? Oh, just agents?
Yeah, I guess instead of the mob and the mafia, it's just the cartel, right? Which, I mean, I guess we can hear and debate which one has the more harmful negativity to mankind as a whole, but it's essentially the same thing. You're dating someone who has a lot of power and a lot of money that is in organized crime, right? There are times it obviously gets a little bit out of control. Normalizing drug trafficking and glorifying the lifestyle is objectively not a good thing that I would encourage anyone to do. However, one viral incident has pissed off a lot of Mexican netizens because someone decided to throw their 8-year-old daughter a buchona style birthday party. not just with like the style of clothing and makeup, which is already, it's fine as an adult, but not fine if you're 8 years old, but also by providing prop alcohol bottles and prop guns to take pictures with. And it's interesting, I will say though, because sometimes the wives and girlfriends of drug traffickers are looked down upon more than the drug traffickers themselves, which I thought is fascinating. It's kind of sick and twisted and sad. Okay, don't get me wrong, I think drug trafficking is looked down upon, right? But there is, somewhat of a sentiment of, well, if certain governments cannot help you, they're born into a condition where the only thing around them is this option that they need to put food on the table. Perhaps they did not get into it out of greed, but rather survive. Is it still bad? Yes, but like there's still more of a new thing. That type of grace does not lend itself to the bags of narcos for some reason. Like the women are considered shallow and gold diggers and never really given the same small amount of grace. Yes. That like, well, maybe there was no other way for them to put it on the table and find safety. But anyway, it's just interesting. It's fascinating.
So they are mostly looked down upon by the mass?
Yes, I would say most Mexican netizens not like this flaunting of this lifestyle. I mean, I guess it's the same in the US. Like, if you see pictures on Facebook of people with lots of cash and guns, you're like, that's not good. I wouldn't want my kid to do that. I don't have kids or whatever. Now, do all drug traffickers and their romantic interests come from such backgrounds where there really is nothing to do but survive off of trafficking? Probably not, but it's just, I think it's interesting that the woman get ripped apart quicker and more than the trafficker. It's like kind of weird. It almost seems like a bigger moral sin to date a trafficker than it is to be a trafficker. I think it's idiotic, but no one asked for my opinion ever. The Patrona lifestyle has a lot of nuanced debate around it. And Valeria is a very famous Mexican influencer that some people associated with that lifestyle.
Do we know if she is not?
She kept it under wraps whilst she was alive. There was always suspicions. I think people started picking up different things, right? In the beginning, when she was still alive, I don't think people had confirmation whether or not she was emulating a lifestyle because that was her personal style and interest, or whether she was involved with someone who would traffic her. Because it's also an aesthetic now. So it's very confusing of like, was it just an aesthetic that she really liked? Because there's a lot of women in Sinaloa specifically who have made influencer careers, clothing companies based off of the boutique lifestyle, but it's unclear whether or not they have any relation to any cartel or have ever dated a trafficker. So is it like a situation like that? I mean, she's very open. I mean, her look, I guess people immediately identify to be part of this lifestyle, which I'm not entirely sure if it makes sense, but she's very open about her cosmetic procedure. Everyone called her the real life Barbie. And I also think it's very refreshing for the audience because she embraced the nickname, but she's also like so straightforward that her doctor had a lot to do. She states, I've had breast augmentation surgery, liposuction, rib reduction, fat transfer to my hips, my butt, cheek reduction surgery, like the buccal fat removal. And that's it. Got like a very curvy yet slim figure. She dyes her hair blonde. She's got natural blue eyes. Another point where people are like, well, now I'm confused. She would post a lot of pictures of herself on yachts, private planes, parties, which is not unlike a lot of influencers where they're always on yachts and we're like, how are you on a yacht? We don't know. Nobody knows, right? So netizens are just kind of wondering, how can she afford such a lifestyle? And that naturally led to speculating that she's involved with the narco.
Is she a big time influencer or?
She's pretty big. I would think that maybe got bigger after her death.
That's very unfortunate.
Big. Yeah. And very widely liked.
But very.
There's also a video of her trying to
always
carry a
some type of weird thing when it comes to that.
She received as a present, which
Why
in
is this
Mexico,
not...
big bouquets of red roses are, I mean, same here, sign of affection, yes, but like mainly a sign of wealth. They're often referred to as ramo buchon, so bouquet buchon, like buchon again references someone associated with drug trafficking culture, so like bouquet and then drug trafficking lifestyle. Because I guess those are typically the people who flaunt it and will follow this trend, and it does take quite a bit of money to. It's like a very specific aesthetic, right? So people are like, well, what does that mean? That she's dating a trafficker? We don't really know. And she's always kind of she's like weirdly private about her dating life, but not private. So she'll tell us about things that happened with her ex-boyfriend, but she won't straight up tell us who she was dating. She'll post some pictures.
She
but
doesn't
it's
need to.
babysitter, right? So it's kind of like you kind of get an idea, but not really. Now, she also does have a very big personality, so people just assumed that's also part of her dating a trafficker. I'm not a narc. I don't even know. Just by looking at her, her clothing, her lifestyle, I don't know if she even falls into this category.
Oh.
She did. She just, to me, seems like a normal girl just having fun. I watched a lot of her live streams that our researchers translated, and she just has blunt humor, and people keep trying to say, oh, this is that lifestyle, and I just think that she's just blunt.
Yeah.
Like in a video, her uncle, who is a hairdresser, is doing her hair, and she's responding to live comments. She's live streaming. Someone makes a dig at her in the comments. They ask her, "Do you come from Temu?" Basically insinuating that she's factory made and cheap. And she reads it out loud and quickly responds, "Actually, from Shein, babes."
Viene de Temu, de Shein, bebé.
And she doesn't even seem bothered in the slightest. Like, in fact, she seems slightly amused by her own response, but her uncle is defending her. Like, those girls who comment, like, I want to see them in person. What, are they Dior or something? And she clarifies, well, it was a guy that commented. But then another person tries to be snarky, asking, what do you have that is natural? And she thinks about it for a second and says, my eyes, my nose, and my feelings. And she
Aw.
starts chuckling at her own work. And like, if having a big personality and having Barbie-like proportions and being a girl's girl is a certain lifestyle, like maybe we should all join that lifestyle. Valeria's audience seems to primarily be other girls and women. She had her own private Instagram channel where she would drop messages, pictures, stories about her life. It's called Personal Girlfriends. And just a quick disclaimer, the conversation of Bichona lifestyles and her potentially dating traffickers is going to be relevant after her death. So I'm not just talking in depth about it, even though it's going to be pretty pertinent to the investigation into her passing. Now, there's a lot of Valeria's digital footprints that have since gone viral again with after her passing, with people digging up. One of the circulating ones is not long before her death. Valeria posts a screenshot of text messages between her and a friend of hers. The point seems to be showcasing their very goofy banter that they have, joking about Valeria's love life, and we don't get too much context. So some people pick it apart to understand Valeria's love life because they think her passing has to do with her love life. Others think it's unrelated. So there's a lot of different. But she is texting one of her best friends, like her public best friend, who is also posting on Instagram all the time. Her name is Vivian. So Vivian texts Valeria something. People think it's about how she should get back together with her ex. The ex being suspected trafficker is what people think, okay? But Valeria responds, ha ha ha, I would rather shit in my street. Vivian writes back, bitch, I know you want it, ha ha ha. She says, I mean, yes. And Vivian says, I will throw some lime at you. So lime, I guess, has some sort of like purifying context to purify you, right? And she said, but no, ha ha ha. So Valeria is like, yes, but no, like I would never. They joke about how the thing has died. I don't know if it's love or whatever. And she's like, not even in my nightmares would I. So Valeria is talking very strongly about how she would never get back together with her ex, is what the conversation seems like. Now, this is where people think it's because Vivian texts her, the only one visiting you. Basically insinuating that Valeria's love life is very isolated and empty right now. And she jokes, the only one visiting you is myself, Santa, and your uncles. Ha ha ha. So Valeria is close to her best friend Vivian. She's very close to her uncle. She actually started her salon with her uncles.
Oh
and
my
Santa,
god.
as in La Santa Muerta, the Holy Death. Not long after,
What?
Valeria will be. La Santa Muerte is the Holy Death, Saint Death, if you will, depending on who you ask. You know, they will either tell you she is a folk saint that you need to show respect to, or they will try to douse you with tap water because holy water is a little harder to get your hands on. Holy Death is typically represented as a female skeleton. So it's a female skeleton in a long robe, and she's holding a knife, like a Grim Reaper, you know. Side note, the Catholic Church has basically announced Saint Death, Holy Death, as being satanic, saying it's practically devil worship and Death is not a saint, so she technically is not considered a Catholic saint, but rather a folk Catholic saint, so kind of like folk religion. One person says, even though she's, you know, the Holy Death, it's actually a devotion to life when you worship the Holy Death. You're embodying who you are. That's the problem promise you're making, because we all meet the same fate one day, which is death. One person says, yes, okay, she represents death, but I would say she's an overall neutral entity. Some people do petition her for bad things, but just as many petition her for things like love and safety. One
Yeah,
person
that's.
says the whole appeal of worshiping, so like
Sorry.
worshiping as in like having
Ah!
an altar.
I know it's not synchronized. The reason why is because usually, oftentimes, people don't think about how death doesn't necessarily mean something good or bad. It could be both. It could be just one or the other thing. And sometimes certain things seem bad in a way because it's exactly something that happens to your ego as well. Like basically how we say like, oh, dodge the bullet, blah blah blah. You like, I don't know, a relationship that it didn't work out anymore, or a workplace, or anything else, especially if it's like connected with a lot of other things. Sometimes it's literally you like having to learn certain things for your ego, and that's why I personally would say in this discussion of death, it's usually also a sign of like something aligning a little bit more, or like you having to learn some things. Not everything has to be a lesson, of course, because some things don't need to happen, but I think certain things are truly out of love and out of protection in a way. And then you could argue with me at the same time, like, no, that's not true, blah 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 blah. And I get it. I was there too a long time ago, where I was like, nah. And also, like, yes, I can just easily say this, but this is, here I go again saying, take whatever you can take whatever you need to take whatever resonates with you. You do not have to take the entire damn candy bowl. Yeah. Anyway, just my comment to that.
Praying to death, and sometimes even performing ceremonies for the holy death. It can border on like the ritualistic side, depending on how extreme and strange it gets, but that
Wait, sorry. Not synchronized. It's not synchronized. And it will never be. Whatever.
They say the whole
Live with it.
of holy death is that she doesn't treat anyone differently. Technically, holy death is one of the most amoral saints out there. They just don't really, I mean, death comes for all. There's no discrimination. There's no avoiding it. They don't reward anyone. Death is neutral. Death is, everyone will face death. This can actually be quite attractive for those who feel European saints or even God might be judgmental to some degree. Naturally, holy death may attract criminals, but there's also just attract normal people who feel like others are not fond of their prayers. Simply put, some see holy death as someone who, as long as you provide the right altar and you celebrate and worship her in a certain way, she's not going to judge you for your personal life when deciding to answer your prayers.
What?
One Redditor states, Santa Marta worship was once old, but she now has followers all over the world. She also has a really big growing group of LGBTQ plus followers because she loves all without any judgment. I have a small shrine of her in my house, and I'm not a criminal. I don't know about this very specific, but if you happen to stumble upon an altar made for Saint Death, the Holy Death, typically you'll find cigarettes, flowers, fruit, incense, water, alcoholic beverages, coins, candy, candles. Oftentimes tobacco is used. It makes sense because she's also known as the Lady of the Night. So people who work at night, taxi drivers, bar owners, police, soldiers, sex workers, they will often worship Holy Death to protect themselves from very violent deaths that happen at night. I will say there is some strong associations with the criminal underworld and Santa Muerte because Holy Death is worshipped heavily by many cartel members, and that association has been growing stronger. So much so that the FBI put out a bulletin on it, which kind of reads more like a gossip page. I don't know why they wrote it like this. They were like, the cult appears to have more European than Aztec origin. with some individuals describing Santa Muerte as a New Age Grim Reaper type goddess, a bad girl counterpart to the Virgin of Guadalupe.
That's so.
They state that
I don't
more
even
and
know
more
what to
cartel
say.
members have been worshipping Santa Muerte, which I guess is great intel for the FBI to have. However, they acknowledge that it's becoming increasingly disturbing, if you will. They say, with the stakes so high for cartel members and foot soldiers who probably know that they will die in a violent manner, with the stakes so high, the sacrifices and offerings to Santa Muerte have become barbaric. Rather than plates of food, beer, and tobacco in some instances, the heads of victims and presumably their souls have been served as offerings to invoke powerful potential for divine intervention. They say that when they busted a bunch of cartel hiding spots, the authorities, they had altars with narcotics, drugs smeared on the statues to help activate them, like make them come alive. It said one powerful criminal was killing virgins and babies once a year and offering them as sacrifices to Santa Muerte to gain favor and magical protection. And clearly it didn't work because he was arrested and then died in prison, which is a double whammy. Cartel members have used holy death against other rival cartels. In one instance, Gulf cartel enforcers captured Sinaloa cartel members, took them to a public Santa Muerte shrine, and executed them as offerings to the holy death. One neighbor who overheard another gang kill someone by lighting them on fire said they overheard that gang talk about how they had to make multiple human sacrifices, not just this one, because they were going to ask the holy death for, quote, something big. The FBI bulletin details
I don't think
incidents
it's.
allegedly have occurred involving
I don't think
victims with their
that's
skin
the
and
holy
hearts
death that
removed.
you're.
Other cases have included individuals
But whatever.
castrated and beheaded while alive, lit on fire, and burned to death, and butchered and quartered. Sometimes authorities found the victim's skin.
As in,
But they
like,
don't
that's
find the
just you
bodies
being
because they're thrown
horrible.
into a
Not.
stew that is apparently called the stew, but translated in Spanish. It's a barrel filled with liquid fuel that is lit on fire. In another instance, investigators stumbled upon 11 headless bodies stacked on top of each other, and just outside they found 11 burn marks in a circle. The cult-like circle. They conclude that those were the decapitated heads that were burned in ritual in a circle. Investigators were not certain what type of ritual was performed until they found the perpetrators, raided their homes, and there were the Holy Death shrines. So for the sake of clarity, though, again, not everyone who worships Santa Muerte is a criminal with nefarious prayers. In fact, I think most are not. And Valeria has been open in different live streams about how she does worship the Holy Death. Valeria has, like, her relationship with Vivian, her friendship with Vivian is a huge point of contention online, even while Valeria was alive. So they would frequently live stream together so you could see their in real time authentic discussions and interactions. And Vivian is also kind of an influencer, but a much smaller one than Valeria. Some people think that Vivian was latching on to Valeria to get famous, but that's obviously, thinking with a heavy dose of skepticism. In any case, Vivian says they've actually been friends since before Valeria got famous.
That's
Regardless,
not right.
people have lots of thoughts
That's
and
not
opinions about this friendship.
right.
Some people think that their friendship is kind of that sisterly love, where they tease each other and they bully each other, but that's just how they communicate. Others think, no, Vivian is constantly saying things to get
Yeah,
under Valeria's
sometimes
skin.
you
Like,
really
can
need to
tell
think
she's
about it
saying things,
again,
and it
whether or
seems
not
like
somebody's being
thinly veiled jealousy.
familial
Even
to
feel the
you
jealousy
in this
from
type of
Vivian, but
behavior
Brady
or
even has to
not.
scream
Really
when they're live
depends.
streaming together.
You really have to look
This
at it
is
yourself.
before anything that happened. People already had this
'Cause
sentiment.
there's-
Yes.
Like,
So
even within
before
family,
Valeria's
sometimes it's
killed,
not.
people are like,
I was thinking,
see, it's
okay.
like half and half. Some people are like, I love their friendship. Others are saying, I don't know.
Something I was thinking recently about how familial, like, how different families talk to each other, right? Some families don't talk as friendly to each other in this type of way. For example, this reminds me of this one clip from, oh, I forgot her name, but the Manson family, basically. No, wait, no, sorry, Osborne. Oh my god, fuck that. Why did I say? Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. I don't know why, but I think it's the Osbournes. Yes, it's the Osbournes. There's one clip of the daughter talking with her dad, and I think he was like doing this. He was saying something, and she was, of course, kind of upset about it. you saw that clearly in the clip, and then at the same time saying like I love you, and then she says it in her way back that would make it very understandable for him that she cares for him. And that's where I'm like, I really like, if you feel truly secure and safe with your family and certain people, it's totally fine to be talking in this type of manner. But if you don't feel safe and secure with somebody else, and this other person also doesn't feel secure and safe, and basically if the relationship is the same within yourself and to the other person not feeling safe and secure at all, then it's literally not good. And it's also not good if it's just you feeling safe and secure and the other person feeling insecure and not safe. That is also a really annoying, sometimes even very problematic and complicated type of relationship to have. Because, like, of course, sometimes it's not even the fact that they have done something to you or whatever. It's literally them being so insecure and unstable that it doesn't matter how much you love them, it still hurts you in some type of way, and it still harms the relationship in some type of way. Because having this one-sided weirdness coming out of one person because for some reason they're not feeling very stable or safe, while you are, and like, what are you supposed to do, right? Especially when you constantly are somebody who's like growing but the other person isn't, and especially when the other person at some point sees it as a point of resentment and like a point of where it's just metaphorizing it's transitioning into I can't listen. It's some words I can't say in English, okay, because of the pronunciation. This is where I get very German. Anyway, like certain, you know. I think that's a very like, you need to really think about your relationships, because at some point, just having certain people around you and loving them, whatever, it's the excess. Because some people that are behaving like this, where they're like very insecure and unstable, but you are very stable in their eyes, and you do present yourself as somebody who's very confident, very stable, and secure within yourself, they just want to have you around because maybe there's a thing about, you know, projecting onto you and toppling that, and that's a move of power and blah 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 blah. This is where this weird thing with destiny swapping and stuff like that comes in, you know. It, like, you don't have to be fully like super like blooming into confidence or whatever as a person. Sometimes it's literally the steps that happen, and sometimes it is literally the point of a certain type of, well, you turning like it, you blooming into a new season again, you know. And sometimes in new seasons, certain seeds, they don't work anymore, the soil doesn't work anymore as it used to or whatever, because it was the season's over. But yeah, this is like
Friendship is weird. But now that Valeria is gone, people have decided they believe the theory that Vivian wanted to live Valeria's life, and that she was trying to destiny swap and take Valeria. But if this popular netizen theory is correct, what are their different trajectories? Like, what is the life that Vivian wanted that Valeria had? So much so that Valeria ends up dead, and netizens, this is what happened. They seem to have very similar yet vastly lives. Valeria starts modeling at 16 for clothing brands. By 21, she wins this beauty competition called Miss Face. It's a local Guadalajara beauty pageant, but after winning that, that means you can compete at state level. So Guadalajara is a city inside of Jalisco, the state. So she does participate in the running for Miss Jalisco in 2023. She does not win, which kind of kickstarts her influence. So even though she doesn't win, she won Miss Face of Guadalajara. So lots of like brands, they start reaching out to her. She starts modeling. There's a very well-known picture of her in medical scrubs. People actually say that she was a dentist and an influencer. It was actually a photo shoot for the brand. However, she was in school studying odontology at one point. So like dentistry at one point. So there's that. But her career starts when she starts modeling for quinceanera dresses. You know, which some of the brands, they're selling these dresses for like $1,500.
Which is always
It's a huge
crazy
market.
to
It's
me.
almost
But
like
they're so
prom
beautiful,
dresses,
the
like if you're
quinceanera
modeling prom
dresses.
dresses. These are big name brands. They've been around a long time, household names. She starts gaining a lot of attention. And she's very beautiful. I will say that she does look like a real life Barbie. But I think a lot of people were drawn to her personality. So our Spanish-speaking researcher translated a lot of just like casual videos that have nothing to do with her passing. And I will say that she naturally does seem intimidating because she's very beautiful, but she also has a very strong personality. So she like voices out her thoughts very frequently. But everything she does also seems humble at the same time. I think it's kind of like the very in
Oh
Korea
my
we have
God,
the stereotype almost like the aggressive onni that cares. It's like the aggressive older sister who is not going to sugarcoat it, but also like she's holding your hair back, she's giving you her favorite lipstick, and she takes care of you, but she's also calling you a dumb bitch because you were acting like. So she kind of has that personality. Like someone even asks her in her live stream in the comments, they're like, "Are you angry?" And she responds, "No." I love why. Very like not, you know. I don't know. Why would you think that? I'm not angry. She's just very blunt, straightforward. If someone will comment, "Your pajamas smell bad," so this is supposed to imply that she only wears cheap clothes. And she immediately responds, "No, but do you want to come smell it? You can even smell my ass if you want."
Oye, no huele feo tu pijama. No quieres venir a olerlo. Hasta del culo si quieres.
And she's still putting on her makeup. And it's just, okay, like for example, another live stream she has. She shows all of her makeup that she's used. She's like taking time and she's like telling everyone, take pictures because
Oh
I'm
my
not going to show
God.
you, right? So she's like, okay, this lipstick.
Ah, this is so irritating. Why am I doing this?
And then she finally gets to applying makeup and she reads a comment out loud. And then like, let me see your lipstick to take a picture. And she said, "Fucking bitch. The first
And
thing
I have
said was take
done so
pictures.
long way.
You
Why am I
don't
taking?
show them over and over again. This is the last time I show my lipsticks, okay?"
I could also use beads, but I don't think I have enough beads for that as a build.
La chingada. Lo primero que les dije, tómenle foto porque no lo voy a estar enseñando. Es la última vez que enseño mis labiales, ¿ok?
And then she takes a long time calmly showing every single time. So it's like, you know, and maybe she's copying a trend where there was a trend where like the guy was selling get upset when people wanted purses up close. So like, but I don't know if she was copying that trend. It didn't seem like exactly. It just seems like she's kind of this. That was her way of humor. August 2024, she opens up.
But
The
yeah.
Blossom Beauty
As I said,
Lounge
the
inside
audio
of
and the video
Plaza.
is not
I did see
synchronized.
people say that her salon is inside of a mall, which is not entirely false, but don't picture
Can
like
I use a
closed
pen or
shopping mall
something?
where you walk through a
This
giant
is
building.
this
It's
is
a plaza that
annoying.
has a parking lot right in front that will be important later. Salon was opened with uncle from her mom's side. So he's a professional hairdresser. She frequently filmed with him. And the salon is full service. They do everything: hair, eyelashes, nails, eyebrows. The whole motto is there is no better treatment than the time you dedicate to yourself. And so people would accuse her of flaunting on private planes and yachts and trying to show off a luxury lifestyle. And her salon is actually very welcoming and affordable. So, for example, a manicure, and obviously it's going to sound a little bit more affordable if you're based in the US, and this is still affordable in Mexico, but a manicure would be $11 to $22. Women's
That's okay.
haircuts, $7 to $35. Full tape and extensions, including
At least
the
for
hair, starts
European.
at like $175, which is still pricey, yes, but extensions, including hair, can get incredibly expensive. A full 50-minute long lymphatic drainage massage to the face is $41. And I couldn't find specific information about the total employee count of everybody that works there, but you don't really need to know. All you need to know is She's the manager, social media marketer. Her uncle is also a manager,
Why?
co-manager, but he's the main hairdresser. So he's the one that does the hair. He's the hairstylist.
No? Oh my god, I keep accidentally clicking on it.
Then you have Erica. Erica is the nail tech. She's going to be important later. And then you have another individual that does some of the other stuff like the eyelashes, the facials, but it's a very small group of people. As for Vivian, she doesn't have the most interesting life path that's occurring to her. When she was younger, she said that she was very rebellious in high school, and that caused a bit of problems. She actually did her first initial work was as an image girl for a club, and she describes it as you get this club. A bunch of club promoters will recruit a bunch of girls to show up, and they just hang out around the club. When guys walk by, they hear there's pretty girls in the club with the hopes of going home with one of them, which they're not going to because they're just like paid to be there. The guys will come, spend money on drinks, buy girls bottles, and then the girls come home and they do alternating dates. So it's like if you went last Thursday, you can't come the next Thursday because like what if the same people are off on Thursdays? It's just a weird. She did image girl work before she was even legally allowed to enter a club, which is illegal, but you get the vibe. She meets Valeria through Instagram. They had a lot of friends and acquaintances that were the same, but they officially started talking through Instagram when they were both trying to just promote each other on Instagram. She said back then you would try to promote friends' accounts and then they would promote you, and that's how
These
you
type
meet
of
people and followers.
environments,
They're 15. So
the
they
possibility
start
of meeting
doing,
somebody like that
they
is
start
even
promoting each
higher.
other on Instagram. They go to the club.
Who's like very
And she
insecure
describes
and
it,
will not
Vivian
grow
describes
out
it
of
as
it
Valeria
either
is
as an
the very
adult, which is even
confident,
worse.
over the top personality, whereas Vivian is the very shy one. Vivian said she's basically an ice block. She was not opening up to anyone. She was very reserved, and Valeria was the one that got her out of her shell. So Valeria meets her when she's 15, and she passes
Yeah.
away when she's 3. I mean, that's a very long-standing friendship. You would say that they're best friends, right? Vivian clarifies that they were not best friends throughout the entire timeline. They would have these like on and off moments in their friendship, and most of that would occur when one of them would get into serious relationships because they just stopped hanging out with
Yes,
friends,
and this
especially
is
friends to go
also,
out to
oh
the
my
clubs with,
god,
because
wait,
now
I
you're
have to
dating
stop.
a guy.
And this is also one of the things. This is why you need to decenter one, okay? Decenter, detach one, your relationships when it comes to romanticism, romantic relationships, or your friendships. But at the same time, detach from them while still being secure with them, because don't mistake detachment and decentering somebody or something out of your life as saying goodbye, I don't care about you. Or no, decentering and detaching something or somebody from you means that you don't want something necessarily from this person. There is interest, there is love, there is care for them, and of course it would be feeling nice if somebody else reciprocates, whatever. But detaching and decentering really does mean that you feel more harmonized within yourself, that whatever you want from this person, they will give it to you. If it's there, if it's there. If it's not there, it's not there, because it doesn't mean that there's something about you. Basically, you need to be more secure with yourself to be like this, because for me, even myself, it took quite a while, but yes, because sometimes this picture that I'm stopped at for Stephanie, I'm so sorry, very unfortunate. But the thing is, especially when you have relationships that are not as secure in this type of way, whereas there's also not automatically a better type of community within each other, because none of us are feeling very like confident within our own values and within our own selves. You end up in relationships where somebody else has a romantic relationship and then it doesn't work out, and suddenly you come back to them because it's a weird type of comfort. I am not standing for this. I hate that so much. I don't like that. This is like, I really, because I'm like, oh, suddenly I like oh okay, that's about, you know, this is like, it's, for me it's like the weirdest thing ever. I've seen somewhere somebody made a comment once that really made the entire thing so much like put into words in the way that I wish I could put it into words right now, because I don't remember it anymore. But it was so perfectly put into words. I was like, yes, this is exactly what I was always saying. Why it's so weird that some people have relationships, romantic relationships, and then they don't have it anymore, and suddenly they come back to you as a friend, and it's a weird thing, and it's weird, you know. It's really weird. It doesn't have to be like only romantic relationships and as in like, oh, you're dating, but even if you end up having a family or something like that, like if, for me, like it's kind of weird in a sense, because it doesn't build proper like relationships or connections that would truly be of community in a way. Maybe it's just, that's just me. Like, this is my opinion. If if you're having whatever you're having, okay, have it, have fun. I'm just saying. But yeah, because usually it does result into like this weird, as I said, weird animosity between each other. Like, I don't know, but maybe I'm saying this because this is my experience that I've had and what I've seen in so many people and experienced as a secondhand thing. Because out there could be somebody who's saying like, that's not true, blah 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 blah. But then again, I hope you, who never had to experience these type of things, understand that this is still possible and exists. Because this is another conversation I've seen recently where it's like a lot of people who have healthy relationships or whatever, or basically your norm is so normal for you, you don't accept that other people don't have this normality for them, that you don't have this type of consideration for them, because it's not just about empathy, it's literally about consideration of somebody else and the fact that they're living a different life from you. Just because it's not normal for you doesn't mean that this is not normal for the other person. Just because it's unnormal for you doesn't mean that's something normal for, not normal for them, you know. And if you consider somebody else, you will figure out that, okay, well, maybe this isn't something I haven't experienced yet, or whatever, or will never and don't need to, and whatever, because I have a different life, you know.
Probably doesn't want you to go to the clubs, and that's when they would have these little off moments, but it was never anything crazy. She says that she did meet Valeria's other partners, like ex-boyfriends, and I mean, she did find out that the ex-boyfriend cheated on her, and that was like a whole thing, but nothing crazy about them either. I mean, she says that there's really not much going on. In any case, when they were friendly, though, they presented as like best friends. They would have sleepovers, they would hug, cuddle, give each other presents. Usually, if Valeria is showing a friend on live stream or getting ready with a girlfriend and she pans the camera over, you can almost bet money that it's going to be. I mean, they're always together. They do a lot of girl talk live streams. In one live stream, Vivian is reading comments and someone asks her, "Do you have a boyfriend, Vivian?" She seems a little uncomfortable, and this is like where people point out maybe there's tension. Valeria blurts out, "A husband." Vivian responds, "Well, something like that. I have it, and another 7 have him as well."
There's 7 girls have him as.
Yes, which Valeria seems annoyed, rolls her eyes, and blurts out like a slang word that I guess would be equivalent to the word that's been circulating a lot, which I know has been a word
Ow.
in basically it's like a crumb eater.
This is so
like
annoying.
you just settle for anyone in a romantic
Sorry,
relationship.
I think I have to
It's not like the worst word to
hang
call
it
someone.
on my
I
microphone.
guess,
That's just how they banter. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, you're just okay.
and it seems like Valeria is upset because she
My
probably gave
microphone.
Vivian advice over and over again that you shouldn't put up with this type of behavior, and Vivian is still putting up with it. It seems like a sore spot, but that live stream has been analyzed to hell and back. In a controversial interview after Valeria's death, Vivian is asked if the two of them ever fought over guys, and Vivian says no, they have completely different types of guys that they go for. And more on this later because it's very important. Some people speculate that Vivian has started dating one of Valeria's ex-boyfriends after Valeria's passing, but that is a rumor and we're going to get into it in a second. But She says they've got completely different interests. Like they have two different types of people that they like. Vivian says that she likes more of a street style
Do I like
guy
this? Yes or
who is
no?
more dark skinned, and she says that Valeria likes a light skinned guy with like that buchona lifestyle, the more, you know, that kind of look. But I don't know, people are skeptical about
Maybe I have to make
this.
the loops a bit
Anyways, they
bigger.
have had full-blown falling outs in their friendship. On Valeria's private chat, she once messaged the group
'Cause if this
of
is
her followers, the
repeating-
personal girlfriends. Viv
Can you
doesn't want to
see
be
it?
my
No.
friend anymore. She told me she doesn't want to talk to me
But
anymore
like
and
this-
to break up the friendship. She literally said that to me. A few days after that, she sends another message and says, "We're back to being friends forever." So it's hard to tell if they're just being dramatic, but they did seem to have some sort of tumultuous friendship. During another
I
live
don't
stream, Valeria
know.
is talking about a fight she and
It looked
Vivian had.
better.
Where, a side note, the way
The
she's talking
video.
about it is more so in like a haha, like isn't this so crazy, funny, crazy
Oh.
story time type of tone.
Did somebody
they're both
follow me?
together in the live stream, so it's not a serious sit down.
Is it
Let me
just
tell you about
Twitch,
the most toxic
not
fight I've
working
ever had with my
properly?
best friend. It's like a very
Who,
like
for
can you
whoever
believe this
followed me,
bitch?
thank you.
She says, "This bitch grabbed me by my neck," and
Thank
she
you for
said,
the
"What's wrong
follow.
with you?" And I snapped.
I can't
back,
see it,
and
I'm so
people were
sorry.
shouting at us like, "Don't fight!" Anyway, we were a little out of it. Vivian adds, "It was all a misunderstanding."
No, fue una loqueada.
Ah, I can see it. Thank you.
And they're both kind of giggling and
Thank
both
you to-
clarify it was
thank
just
you,
a crazy
Rules,
moment, a
for the
crazy little
follow.
episode. They post another TikTok together after not posting each other for months.
But do we like
and
it
the
like
caption of
this?
That TikTok
Look at
just
this.
reads, "We're so pretty. It doesn't look like
I
a few
don't
months ago we were fighting to
know.
the death."
It's a belt. I think it's. I need
Even
to trust the
before
process,
Valeria's
maybe.
death, people were going through
'Cause I'm
live
not gonna
stream
open
after
this
live
anymore.
stream, just trying to point out
I've been
odd
doing this
moments
since
because,
yesterday, and I
mean,
kept
they
opening
go
it because I
from being
wasn't
together
satisfied.
24/7 to all of a sudden Valeria stops answering questions about Vivian. She stops posting about Vivian, and then all of a sudden they're back to posting together. So people were naturally invested and had these. They wanted to know what was going on. You know, in one live stream, the two girls are drinking. Vivian is holding the camera. She's live streaming, but it's not obvious that she's on the phone. It just looks like
Also-
it's propped up.
It's-
And she doesn't announce to anyone in the beginning of the live stream, like, "I'm live streaming," or like, "Hey guys, look, we're live streaming live." And Vivian says, "We're having a little drink." You can hear Valeria's voice in the background. Her speech seems much slower than usual. It sounds like they just got home after a night out, and she seems a bit drunk. And she asks Vivian, "Is that my phone?" Vivian responds, "Obviously, gorgeous. I started the live stream on your phone."
That's so. No, that's so. That's fucked. That's fucked. Girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
That's, like,
She's just a mean person.
Crazy. Okay.
She
and
was
then what-
already
what's
always
the
so. Oh my
reaction
god,
to
that's
that?
so
She
fucked.
just like kind of plays it off, and they just keep live streaming. But I think for one, it's insane to take someone's phone and start live
Yeah.
streaming. And then second, I
You're
think it's
crazy.
insane to
No.
live stream without telling people, because like, what if
Yeah.
she had taken?
Oh,
her
you.
shirt
Oh, she.
to
Oh.
change after a night out? Like, what if you? Yeah, in the
That's
house.
insane.
Yeah, just generally speaking, like it's just weird. It almost seems set up.
Exactly.
It is.
So
It
it's
is.
odd. Other times
In some
she'll
way, 'cause that's
steal
so-
Valeria's
that's
phone while
fucked,
she's live
man.
streaming, and then
Why
she'll
would
be
you do
like,
that?
"I'm gonna
If
kidnap
you like
now,"
genuinely your
and
friend,
it's- So Valeria would
why would you do
psychoanalyze
that?
But this is Valeria's account where
Like
Valeria
even if
has
you feel,
more
if
followers
even
than
if somebody
Vivian
is not
does.
your friend,
And
if
she
you
says,
feel
"And
secure
when
enough
you
with
know,
yourself,
she'll
you
run
wouldn't
with
do
her,
that. Not only that,
and
but if you're like
Valeria's chasing after her.
just not a
It just,
bad
I guess
person
a lot
like
of people
this, you
see
wouldn't
it
do that.
as Vivian is trying to take Valeria's clout. Such a weird word to use.
Say that.
I guess they're saying like this is Valeria's Instagram and her live streams, but
Like, it
Vivian
could-
is
of
trying
course
to
it could
make
be something
a her
else.
thing. Like,
But if-
she's the main
it's-
character
that's-
in Valeria's
ugh.
live stream, and it's done in a way where it doesn't feel natural. They're saying like it doesn't feel like both engaging in a conversation. It just feels weird.
Yeah, it feels
In another
weird.
clip that has since gone viral, making the rounds,
It doesn't
you know,
seem
Valeria's live
right.
streaming in her house, getting ready. She looks to
Then
the
again,
side,
it's just
and
my
she says,
opinion.
"Why the
As
fuck
I
are you coming
said,
into my
it could be
house?
something
Am I gonna
else.
Notice, fucking bitch." And she
Bruh.
continues doing her makeup, and it's clear that she's just talking in a blunt way, but she's answering comments, and she's like, "Yes, Vivian is here. I'm telling you, she walked into this house like it's her house, that bitch." So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe some friends, and like, maybe it's because I don't have like a crazy best friend that just like barges into my house, but I think it would throw me off. Okay, it wouldn't throw me off if someone shows up to my house and like a friend shows up unannounced, but it would throw me off if they ended up inside the house. And I'd be like, "How did you get
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know. It just, but her reaction to me, it's a little weird.
Like without
Mm.
Valeria thought it was weird.
Yes, because I imagine if it's a common thing between them, she'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, hey, you're back," or like, "Hey, where were you?" You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like basically Vivian's crossing boundaries.
Yeah, and I think Valeria is trying to set the boundary without being super firm, even though she has a firm personality. So it's just, I don't know. Some
Oh.
people thought it was normal between them. Some people thought it was a strange and
Okay.
toxic friendship. But does that mean that you could be a killer? A lot of people have noticed a lot of jealousy as well. Just looks wise, people think that Vivian went to the doctor and showed them a picture of Valeria to tell them what she wanted to look like. The resemblance, I will say, is pretty striking. Neither of them have natural blonde hair, but Valeria has always been blonde. That has been her trademark. Not to say that anyone who is blonde is copying Valeria, but Vivian eventually decides that she's gonna go blonde, which is normally fine, but she also decides to get blue contact lenses, which
Oh.
Valeria has naturally blue eyes. And just the resemblance in the facial
That's so
features, but more
weird.
so than that, is eventually they start wearing similar looking outfits, but Vivian keeps posing like similar outfits,
No, wait,
same
other
pose
way.
as Valeria. There's like a picture
goes
of them and
inward.
the camera is angled upwards, so the camera is lower, and they're both wearing this animal print looking tube top with a little thin scarf with the same print. And it's like such a distinct picture angle, and it's such a distinct top.
That's two separate photos here.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Valeria's
That's
went up
so-
first, and then Vivian's. And
I
it
see.
just looks like the clothing
It's
is
just-
the same, the pose is the same.
It just
makeup
smells
is
of
the same.
envy and
It's just kind of
jealousy
like-
and not
So it's
fitly.
just a
Oh
lot
my
of
god.
similarities,
That's a horrible
which,
look.
I mean, like, I do think best friends
Like, not horrible
naturally
look
have
as
a lot
the
of
outfit,
similarities because you
but it's a
start
horrible
wearing
look to
similar
be
clothing, you start adopting the
constantly
same mannerisms,
envious
and I
and
think that's
jealous of
completely
somebody
normal. I
else
actually think it's
to the point
cute,
where you would
but
do
in
these type
this
of
situation,
things
it was kind of
and behave like
it just
this.
felt like maybe she's copying her
It's
or
so
trying
weird.
to be her. And it's not just that, she's seeing Valeria. And it seems like Valeria is getting fed up. In one clip, Valeria is live streaming and she looks to the side and she shouts at Vivian, "You're gonna steal my panties again? Like, why don't you just get your own, Vivian?" Vivian is like, "I forgot them, I'll buy you more." "No, I don't need you to buy them, you stupid bitch. I'm gonna be left with none. They're over there. I can't stand you." It seems like every time she comes over and they go out, she
That's-
like borrows Valeria's undies. And
That's-
Vivian's
first of all,
like, "No,
that's
just buy me
weird.
more," But Valeria's like, "No, because it's not about buying me more. It's about the fact that like you're taking so many of them. I don't have any more undies in my drawer."
Exactly.
Vivian walks up, hugs Valeria from behind,
Oh.
and Valeria pouts, "No,
Why is
fuck
so
off."
many? Oh my
And she's like, "I
god!
just
Ew!
And Valeria
It
looks
feels
at her live stream
disgusting.
comments and goes, "She doesn't give a fuck." Saying like, "My friend is crazy. Like, she doesn't give a fuck." They start digging through the drawer though, and Valeria picks up a gray pair of undies and is like, "This one's yours, right?" As long as... Then Valeria eventually offers, "I also have a black one." One person on Reddit says about Destiny shopping in general, not in relation to this case. I'm gonna keep it real as a woo-woo girl. I don't believe in Destiny swapping
Exactly.
because I don't believe somebody can take what God has for you. And even if they get what they want, it will never be exactly what you had. Not only
Exactly.
do I believe it doesn't work and it's incredibly complex to attempt, I also believe, people describe Destiny swapping other things. Some people think it's like when your friend picks up style tips. or your friend is
Exactly. It's
introducing you
not.
to a
It's
workout
exactly what I said in the
or your
beginning.
friend is
It's
introducing you to other things or
Inspiration,
people
influence.
those
It's
are
different
Destiny
from
swapping.
somebody copying you
Like,
because they're so envy and jealous
It's
of
like
you.
someone trying to come into your life and replace you. It's like
It's
trying to
literally
steal your
just
husband, your kids,
insecurity. It's
your
literally
house,
just you being a
your
bad
job.
person in a
It's
type
not
of
even
way.
like they like the clothes that you wear.
Because some people,
and
it
they wanna
doesn't.
buy
It's
it.
just not. Some people, it's
They
not
wanna
just
dress
about
in your
insecurity.
clothes.
Some people are just very
But is Vivian doing that? And is she the only suspect
Bad
for
peop-
who
bad
killed
people.
Valeria? Not really. There were rumors that Valeria is linked to various other people that could have had motive to kill, such as Francisco Alvarez Barrio, the son of LR1. That's what they call him. That's his nickname. He is one of the most dangerous cartel leaders in the state of Jalisco. Francisco, the son, is often nicknamed Narco Jr. And there are pictures where people believe Valeria is with Narco Jr., and it seems that they broke up and not on good terms. And some people even suspect that Vivian is dating him now. It's such a mess. Valeria Marquez starts her last TikTok live stream May 13th, 2025. She's sitting inside her Blossom Beauty Lounge, and it looks like she's the receptionist. like she's behind it. And it's just like a green wall behind her, and mainly you just see Valeria in frame. You don't really see anything else, and it does appear to be somewhat of a slow day. Or perhaps it's close to closing time and they don't have a lot of walk-ins coming through. There is music playing in the back, but it's salon, so it's not a club. You can hear Valeria, the music is very background noise, and then there's really not much else.
Hola, guapa.
She's wearing a tight pink bodysuit. This is very pertinent later. She's wearing white jeans. And the first 45 minutes of this live stream, it feels beyond ordinary. She's answering questions about her eyelash extension. She's talking about how her head hurts a little bit. She has a headache.
Ay, me dolió muchísimo la cabeza.
The comments are asking her, are you going to stay there all day? And she says, no, I'm leaving soon. Extremely tired, just not feeling great. It seems like very early on in the live stream, the last room leaves. So it's just Valeria and one of her employees, Erica, in the entire salon. It's just two of them.
Is Erica in frame or?
She comes in frame briefly, like her face is kind of here and there, but not really at all. And it seems like she's doing things in the background. So when she's even talking to Valeria, her voice will sound sometimes more distant, sometimes a little bit closer. She's just in that vicinity. Now, the question that people have is, okay, well, it's near closing time, and you guys are both there. You don't have any clients, and you're saying your head hurts. Why don't you leave? Or like, why don't you leave it for Erica to close the store? Is that the best thing a boss can do? Probably not, but it would make sense. So it's just Valeria and her employee, Erica. Why are they not leaving? It just doesn't, it's kind of odd. To the point where comments are pointing that out, and Valeria responds, well, the only reason that she's not leaving and she's staying is because her employee, Erica, told her. Some delivery driver came by earlier today, so at this point, Valeria had stepped out to go to the doctor's office. Erica's alone, she's managing the salon, and a delivery driver comes up with this mysterious gift in a black bag, and he's like, this is for Valeria. Erica's like, okay, well, that's my boss, so I can just sign something, like, you can just give it to me, she's about to be back in an hour. He says no. It's a very expensive delivery, and I can only leave it with Valeria. But because Erica is like, okay, well, she's not here, and she's gonna be back in like an hour, why don't you just come back in an hour? He says, okay, I'll come back in an hour. It's been way longer than an hour, so this is around 2:30. It's closer to 6 right now. Valeria is so confused by this. Like, it seems that she was told by Erica all of this before she starts the TikTok live stream. And as she's explaining it to the comments of why she's staying, even though she has a headache, she's kind of confused.
Y yo, pues más o menos llego como en una hora. Y ya dijeron de que, no, es que mejor me espero a que llegue ella porque es muy costoso. A mí que me va a andar regalando algo.
As she's explaining it, she's also kind of confused. And she's asking, like, Erica, do you know what the delivery was? Did he mention where it's from, who it's from? Erica's like, I have no clue. I just knew it was in a black bag. I don't even know what was in there. Larry's like, okay, well, I guess I have to wait. But I'm like falling asleep. Erica reassures her it was a black bag, but it was like one of those present gift bags.
Ahorita me estoy quedando dormida, güey, tengo mucho sueño. Hola, Valer, ¿no se algo costoso y en una bolsa negra.
They get a little distracted with work stuff, and then Erica eventually brings up the topic of the present again. She says, they're making us get excited. Valeria, on the other hand, seems a little more skeptical, and I don't know if this is just her blunt humor coming into play, but she says, dude, maybe they're gonna kill me.
Oh.
I don't know if it's right after she does keep dancing to music, but her tone does seem a little concerned, and I don't know if all of this is in hindsight and I'm overthinking it, but it's just odd. Valeria reassures her viewers, no guys, it was just a present, but I don't know who sent it. It was like somewhat translucent, right? Like there's little stars on the bag. So she's like confirming with Erica off screen. Something expensive? Because it wasn't a delivery man. Like they would have left something if it was a delivery man, right? Like a regular delivery guy, like Amazon. Yes, would probably just leave it. Valeria is confused by the whole thing, just repeating to herself. But if it wasn't a delivery man, then who?
Que no era un repartidor y luego quién?
23 minutes into the stream, Valeria gets a message from her best friend Vivian and announces it. She's like, oh, Vivian just texted me. And she's texting Vivian, and they're talking about an upcoming surgery that Valeria has, like an elective surgery. As she's texting, she turns back to Erica and talks about the again. And she's like, dude, I'm so worried. You said that you couldn't see his face? He was wearing something like, the motorcyclists wear, like a helmet thingy, but it didn't go over his whole head. And what did he say? That he was gonna come back in an hour? I don't know, I just saw him come here. Valeria looks at the camera with like big eyes, like when you look at someone like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
As if she's terrified, but she doesn't look scared. It's kind of more like, what? Like, that look. And she responds, they're gonna snatch me or what?
Güey, me quedé preocupada.
She looks around, turns back to the live stream, and she's like telling her live stream, no, I don't know what's going on, but who could it be? Girls, I think I'm gonna go because I'm getting creeped out.
Yeah.
She said she couldn't see his face, but it was a delivery man.
think-
But like not a delivery man, but a delivery man. Before the killing, so 34 minutes, like 55 seconds into the live stream, Valeria announces that Vivian texted her that she needs to stay and wait because Vivian wants to see her face. Later, Vivian describes this as taken out of context, but
I'm so sorry for her. Because
Valeria drops her phone and
she did
shouts,
feel that,
"Hurry up, bitch, because I have to
intuitively.
leave."
She
Valeria
probably
says,
felt
"What is this
something
bitch
was
gonna send
wrong.
me?"
People, please, if you feel something's wrong in this type of way,
So now Vivian is
believe
saying,
yourself.
You have to wait because I want to see your face, not because of the mysterious delivery man, but because I've sent you
A separate one? Or-
separate.
Oh.
So Valeria's like, what is this bitch gonna send me? Dude, is she gonna send me some stupid shit? I swear. Erica says then the delivery driver would have just left it with her if it was something stupid. So like there's like I think everyone's miscommunicating here, right? So Erica is like, no, I don't think the delivery driver was something stupid. And so Valeria's like, no, I mean Vivian, she's going to send me something too. Valeria says she's tired, she's sweating, she just go home. Meanwhile, Erica clarifies she tried to take a gift from the guy, but he was intent that it had to be directly Valeria. Then a male voice is in the background. Suddenly someone has entered the studio. Someone walked in.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Valeria stands up and sits back down with a Starbucks bag, and she's very smiley. Vivian, dude, just say you're into me. She opens the bag, pulls out her very favorite Starbucks drink, dragon fruit lemonade refresher. Then another male voice.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Valeria gets up, comes back into frame, and it's like a Miniso bag, the Japanese,
Miniso?
yeah, Miniso. She pops it open and opens a stuffed toy, like a little stuffed pig. Valeria's hugging it. She's screaming, "It's a little pig!" Dude,
That's-
Vivian is in love with me, I swear. She starts posing with the stuffed pig. It smells like ass, but I will ignore that. I love you, slut. Marry me. I love it. Vivian, like, do you want to be my girlfriend here in front of the audience? I have never confessed to anyone, but I think you're the love of my life. Like, we should date for real, dude. She reads the message from Vivian out loud. Because you're all pink today. She poses as her
That's
present and
so-
announces, I will stay until fucking 7 then, because I'm a responsible boss. But tomorrow, I'm not gonna be here, so don't fuck with me.
I don't even know
I'm
what to
just
say.
playing. I'll still come. So she's saying, I'm just kidding. I'm still gonna come into the salon.
No me lo mandó Vivian. Ella sabe lo que me gusta.
Starts going back to answering live comments. Do you like women?
You know where this stuff
No,
also
but I
comes
feel
from?
like
You have
the love
often
of my life is
times
Vivian. Looking for a
misogyny and
man. Men aren't worse shit. Girls are
patriarchy.
nicer, more thoughtful.
What the
They
fuck?
go back to talk.
As in, like,
Erica says
being
that
jealous
delivery man came
of
around
somebody
2:30 p.m.
to this
And she's
point,
like, I told him that you'd be back
being
in an
so
hour,
envious
and
of
now it's
somebody that you would
Valeria
project
goes back
onto
to
somebody
read
so
comments. They
hard.
should be here by now then. She's like, exactly. So a
can't.
comment is like, they should be here by now. And she's like, exactly. Should be a fan? Maybe, but like, why wouldn't they just leave
It-
it?
Mine's
You know? Erica jokes, maybe he thought I was like a thief. Valeria turns to Erica, but did he, I mean, was he a delivery
fine.
man? Did he look like a delivery man? Or what? No, a delivery man.
Parecía repartidor o escolta. Repartidor.
Now, side note, a lot of influential people, politicians, wealthy businessmen, and high up traffickers tend to have bodyguards in Mexico. So that was a very pertinent question. Valeria starts asking Erica questions. Is he small or tall? Medium, like my height. Ooh, I cannot think of anyone. Like, they would have told me that they're getting me a gift. She starts answering more comments. A delivery man would just leave it, the gift. Yeah, exactly. Does the stuffed animal have a GPS? Oh, no, this isn't by Vivian, dude. So they're like asking oh, the stuffed animal, who is it sent by? Like, that's creepy. So her comments are getting a little skeptical. And she's like, no, this is from Vivian. Dude, I don't know. Erica told me it was like a box or like a black gift bag with little stars. And it had something very expensive inside. So they wanted me to receive it and take a picture of me with the gift. But I have no idea who could have sent it. I'm not seeing someone. Like, I would say, oh, well, then the guy that I'm seeing probably sent it. But no, I don't know. This is creepy, right? He said he's going to come back in an hour. 2:30 p.m. It's like now 6 p.m. Erica further clarifies, I was here. And he said, Valeria Marquez? And I said, yes. Like, he thought it was me. And he doubted, like, she's not here. And I told him, no, but this is your business and you leave it here. There's no problem. I can deliver it to her. And he said, I was told to take a picture with her with it. And I said, then wait for her, but I don't know when she's going to get back, probably in an hour. And he said, well, because of the price, I can't just leave it with you. And I told him, well, if you want, I can call her. If she said leave it, you can probably leave it, right? And he's like, no, I'm going to be back. And then finally,
Please,
55
kids,
minutes
always
in,
remember,
Valeria
don't
says
take
he's
things from
coming.
strangers when it feels like this.
So, the windows are glass, and so she can see a man approaching, and Erica must recognize the guy because she chimes in, oh, yes. Because if it wasn't the same delivery guy, she wouldn't have said that. You hear a male voice in the background, very calm, like very cheery almost. Hello. And Vivian responds, hello. The delivery man sounds friendly, and he asks, Valeria Marquez? Yes.
Hola.
Valeria leans forward, mutes the live stream, and a few seconds later, you see her holding her stomach with her mouth open. You don't see a lot of blood. It's almost like she had a stomach cramp hit. Like, it's almost, I don't know if maybe,
I'm so sorry.
like if someone hit her in the stomach. Like, it's a shocked face, but almost calm in the sense of you don't see anything visually. She has
Wait,
been
what?
shot. There's not a lot
What did I
of blood.
do?
The bullet
What is
seems
happening?
oddly small. You almost don't even see it
Eh?
in the live stream. And then you do because she's shot twice in the head. Again, it's a small bullet. There is not a lot of blood, but you can see her body fall, see her body go limp. Her face is covered by her hair. She's slightly out of frame. I mean, not much. Her face is out of frame, but her whole body is in frame because she's still live streaming. She's clutching the stuffed pig, and it almost is like her body goes rigid. And within seconds, you see the phone camera get pointed towards the ceiling, and you see the employee, Erica, turn
Oh
off
god,
the
I feel
live
so
stream.
sorry for Erica as well.
Now, this whole
It's
thing is
crazy.
muted, so we don't know if the delivery man said anything else to Valeria before or whilst or after
Very
shooting her,
unfortunate
or what Erica's reaction was because
for
it's
everybody,
muted, but
because
her
that
face,
could
I
have
mean,
been
she's
great
not screaming.
evidence
It
at the
seems
same
like her face
time.
is almost like determined. I
It's
don't know how to
very-
describe her face. Other people have said she looks indifferent, casual, determined. Like, those are the words that are most frequently used to describe her expression.
Crazy, but
I don't
the
know.
employee was
To me, it
there
felt
watching
like-
the whole thing,
Yeah.
and
I don't know.
nothing happened to her.
That's the big point of confusion in a
It's also
all
weird.
the police know right off the bat is that this must be a contract killing. The delivery man, yes, he is the one that pulls the trigger. He is the one that physically kills Valeria, and
This
he of course
stings.
needs to be arrested.
This entire thing
However,
stings.
It's very clear that someone hired him. He has no relation with Valeria. He's here for a target. It seems like he came back to make sure it's Valeria. Like, this is just a job to him. He's clearly been paid to fulfill an order. But who is the one that ordered it? A lot of people initially thought it was Erica. Because they're wondering, why is the first thing that she did is turn off the camera? It doesn't make sense. She would also, technically, just statistically,
Something-
she would probably be dead too. Because a lot of the times if you're this ballsy to take out an influencer who's live streaming on TikTok with a lot of fans that are watching, you probably don't care to also kill her employee just so you leave
It,
no witnesses.
it doesn't feel right
So
because
His
it
face
kind of
wasn't fully covered, right?
you don't see him on camera.
because
But not
I
fully
had to
covered.
twist
Erica
it more
was.
than once.
Erica
My God.
earlier said that
Why
he
am I
was
doing this
not
pattern?
fully covered.
Because it looks so pretty, huh?
So she could
Why?
kind of identify him.
Yeah. And she could probably identify.
And I was
the
like, oh, two
motorcycle, or I'm assuming he
items I have
walked
to
in with
do.
certain- So,
God damn
would
it!
she not have been dead too? Not that people are wishing that a person would have died, but it just didn't make any sense. On top of the fact that she looked really calm. A lot of people are saying, put yourself in that position. If you are Erica and you don't know if you're next. You're
But
not
this-
ending a live stream. You're begging for your life. You're screaming. You're taking cover.
I mean,
you're doing
yes, but at the
something.
same time,
Like the live stream is the last.
I just
thing that
want
would be
to.
on your
I
mind
don't
if you're Erica.
defend. I just want
One
to
person
remind you that some
theorizes, if
people
Erica hadn't set up Valeria, she
also
would've gotten
do
killed
know
too.
how to be
It
calm in
just
such
doesn't make sense, because
situations.
who's going to let a witness live? They both would have been killed. I think the hard part is
Plus, you're
a lot of
shocked.
people think Erica
So
is
it's.
suspicious,
I don't
and
know.
they think that she may have
I'm
been
just
in on
reminding
it.
you, because you
Maybe
see
she
that
didn't know what was gonna happen.
oftentimes
Maybe
in a
she
lot
was
of
paid
people
to
as
keep her
well.
boss all day.
There's not just
Maybe
one
she thought
response
everybody
to
was
everything.
Like she genuinely thought her boss was gonna get a cute surprise. No one knows, right? They don't think that she's the one that would have all this incentive to want Valeria dead.
No motive.
No motive. But then, like, who does?
But did she talk? Did she?
Only to the police.
Okay, so do we know the version?
No.
Really?
Mhm.
So when she turned off the live, we're assuming that's after the Hima has left.
Or
Or
is
we
in the
don't know.
process of walking out. But it seems pretty fast. We
It was
don't know.
quick.
But it was pretty fast. It's hard to give you an exact timeline because, yeah, it was pretty fast.
Yeah, that's
All we have are like re-uploaded clips, and I probably wouldn't advise you trying to hunt down the clip. Most of the clips have cut out the part where after she mutes it, the clip ends. So it's hard to say if there was any altering of the facts, but it seemed pretty. And I guess you can't rule out an obsessed fan or a stalker or some sort of admirer, but this does feel a lot more personal than that.
It is.
So the people's next best guess on the internet is maybe it's Vivian, the only other person that was interacting with Valeria during this live stream that has reason to. Vivian
Yeah,
is
it feels
the friend that
weird.
people thought was jealous of Valeria this entire time. One person comments, "My parents always warned me jealousy can be deadly."
And the
Another
thing
writes,
is,
"With all
also,
this info
if
about
even if
jealousy,
you're
I'm out
grieving,
because you never know what
listen,
happens."
there's no
People
such thing
went
as
on that
grieving a
Vivian had
person in a way of
Valeria say because she wanted her to
copying
get her
them.
gifts and
That's
wanted to see
weird.
her reaction
That
when
is
she
super
said
weird.
gifts. But Vivian says, you guys are taking it all just out of context. She explains later in an interview, this is after Valeria's death. She says, I always give gifts. Like when Valeria's live streaming, I'm always sending her gifts, specifically like through Uber Eats. So in a different live stream, you know, Valeria is reading her comments and Vivian is telling her to eat something. Eventually there's a knock on the door. Valeria looks shocked, but like not in a bad way. She says, I didn't order anything. It's for Valeria Marquez. Me, I didn't order anything. She takes the bag and she's like, who the hell is this from? Is this Vivian? It's a dragon fruit refresher from Starbucks. It's my favorite. Then that means it's from Vivian. Fuck me if it's not from Vivian. Vivian texts Valeria, from who else could it be? Valeria laughs, and in other clips, Vivian and Valeria are both live streaming together, getting ready to go out. Valeria's at home, Vivian's at home, Vivian's about to go to Valeria's, and she's like, I'm gonna pick you up Starbucks on the way. And they both kind of like this baby voice with each other.
¿Quieres que te lleve un step?
Other videos show Valeria showing off a bouquet of flowers she got from Vivian. And Vivian just describes, you know, with my close friends, the friends that I truly love, I'm always really thoughtful. Like, my way of showing love is through gifts. So I always try to shower Valeria, like, whether it's stuffed animals, because she loves stuffed animals a lot, or with flowers, because she loves flowers. She loved being given flowers. I would send it to her simply because seeing her happy came naturally to me. Seeing how excited she got like a little girl when she received things was more than enough for me. Like, I always gave Valeria gifts. I always showered Valeria gifts.
That's the same way a parent would be like, I always give you so much. You know what I mean?
Kind of like a regular
It's,
thing. Only when I
I
felt
don't
like giving
know.
her the gift, I would give it to her. I mean, I literally almost always gave it to her when I saw her live, so that I could see her reaction when we weren't together. You know, because
I
a lot
don't
of
know,
the
that's
times we were also
very
together,
weird.
So she says that
Like,
recently Valeria was having problems with
Not
her
only in
health.
this case, but
So
the
I just
general
wanted to cheer her up,
consensus
send her
of this type of
food,
behavior
flowers,
is
stuffed
weird,
animals.
by the way.
But a lot of the listeners are saying it just feels so convenient. Also, the fact that Vivian loved to be around Valeria when she's live streaming, but conveniently the day that she passes, she's not there. There are other people who also think it's odd.
Because, like,
that
if
she
somebody
sent
was
her a
like,
pig,
yes, there is
and then
such
she
thing
ended
as
up dying in the same
you
live
have
stream,
your
it almost
own
feels like when
language
you
of
factor in
how you
what
like
netizens believe to
love
be this
received.
obsessive jealousy, it feels almost like a
Because my
combination
take on
factor.
the
And the fact that
land of
she's
love
watching,
language
it
is
just feels like
basically,
she wanted to
yes, there are
see
certain
this
things, but
happen,
at the
is
same
what people
time,
are
it's kind
speculating.
of
Now,
a
Vivian
weird
says in the later interview, that's
patriarchic thing
couldn't be further from
that
the truth.
happened.
That's not, it doesn't make
Also,
sense. She said she's watching the live stream.
you have to
quote, "I was
show
at home.
up for
And because I
somebody
was watching her live,
in
I
any
watched her in the
way.
background on my
It doesn't
phone, and I
matter.
had her voice in the background just
Show up
listening
for
to
the
her.
person that
And she
you
said
that
something
you
really
love
funny, or
in
that
the
I wanted to give an
in the
opinion
way
on,
they
so that's
need
why I
it,
sent her a message.
and at the
And
same
sent her
time
direct
how
message
you
on my
need it,
phone.
show it
She
in
says,
both
"I feel
ways,
like anything
show it in
that I
any
do that
way
has
that's
to
not
relate
necessarily
I
what
just
you
told
want
that I
or
had
the
it in
other
the
person
background. Like,
wants,
there were times where
because
I
showing
concentrated a
love in
lot on
any
what I was watching on the phone,
other
or sometimes I
way
would do other
is
things
how
and
you
I
show
would
love, it's how
listen
you
to
show
her. I mean, I
interest in
stopped paying
somebody
attention
else.
to what she was saying, and then I would reconnect. And I was always watching Val's lives because it was just very entertaining. Like, she's
At least
very
that's my
funny,
take,
so I always
okay?
watched her lives.
I think it's weird.
She said she was interested in what present she was going to get. She says, I mean, of course I was curious to know what they were going to give her, because normally the gifts they sent her were always left right away. So if there's flowers, people leave them. If there's other things, they leave them. So it was just
Oh, God.
intriguing. She says about the moment that her friend passed this quote. So at that moment, what happened with Val, I even thought that they had like thrown confetti popper or something at her, because I saw her kind of duck, and then she went off to one side. Like, I didn't really grasp what was happening until I saw that she literally was almost collapsing onto the table. She said that she had the live stream minimized to on her phone, so she's doing other things. So when I saw that she kind of ducked, I said, "Oh, they threw confetti at her," and then I zoomed in, showed the full screen, and that's when I saw she was already with her hair covered to the side. So I didn't understand what had happened until I saw that she literally started falling on the table. So logically, I got very worried. I immediately got up. I called her uncles because her uncles weren't at the salon at the time. I don't remember why they weren't there. So I called them. I told them that I think something happened to her. I mean, that I wasn't very sure because it wasn't very clear, but logically at the moment I didn't see it like I did later after watching all
But
the
then
videos
again,
properly. At the moment I didn't see it clearly, so I just said something happened. She said she saw some live stream comments saying Valeria had been shot, and she was screaming at, like, telling the uncles, like, what do you mean she's been shot? Like, that's when I started freaking out. She's calling the uncles and getting ready. She's out the door and going to the salon. She says by the time she gets there, another one of their friends had been watching the live and rushed over. We were both in shock. We just hugged each other. I mean, we couldn't believe what was happening. We were so angry because, of course, they couldn't let us into the salon. I couldn't see Val. I mean, they had put up the tape by this point, but I was just in a moment of shock. I was in denial. I didn't believe something had happened to her. I was simply completely in shock. Everything was closed off. I mean, they only let immediate family in, logically, right? I don't know any other way to express what I was feeling, because at that moment tears would not come to me. I was in shock. I mean, I didn't want to accept it. When I was in the Uber. I didn't want to accept it. I was very sad. I was very confused. I just wanted to get there and see her. I mean, I wanted to get there and see how she was, because my brain couldn't process that she was no longer there. Says that she doesn't love made her out to be this jealous friend.
Okay, listen. Everybody works differently with grief or sudden events, shocking events, news happening, okay? But what I have seen oftentimes, and also myself experience, is, and maybe you can add your sense to it if you have your experiences and you're like, oh, that's not blah blah blah. I would love to hear them. The thing is, what I see often in times and have experienced is when somebody truly cares for you. Yes, there's a guttural difference in feelings when it's a family member that you really love and cared about, okay, when it comes to these type of news. But I believe if it's a friend, if it's a true friend, they will also have a certain type of guttural reaction to these type of things, even if you're in shock, because it's not just one thing that's happening. I know shock is like, it's like an instant, one thing after another, and at the same time it all exists, and you have to make a decision all the time whether or not you will react to it or not, whether you will let yourself react to it. Because for me, when I hear that from others, I'm like, okay, of course it's shocking and everything, but like, I have a bit more of a cooler way of reacting to it, because it's not so guttural to me as the person who's like truly has this connection with somebody. It's still sad nonetheless, of course, but like what I've observed oftentimes, it's like certain friends, like even romantic partners, but certain friends who have this type of very deep connection with you, they will have guttural like reactions to it as well. Then again, it doesn't mean anything, because at the same time, I'm just saying, adding a few cents to it as well. I'm just saying it, like, this is a nuance that you also need to look at. because oftentimes I'm like, okay, some people have a different reaction, but it's also some people have very different realities with the person they were connected to and such things. So I just want you to know that this is something that you should also take into consideration when it comes to hearing about these type of things. Like this podcast episode of hers video, she does have it as a podcast as well, as you can watch the video. But also when it doesn't just this, but any other case, even your personal things, when you hear certain things, you have to think about it properly. Consider whatever, consider yourself, consider the other person, consider whatever you haven't known, and consider everything you do know. No,
Your jacket,
why
where did you get it? I'm gonna buy the same
does
one.
the
Do you
video
care?
start again? God damn it. Oh, wait, sorry. One what?
That's when I would send her a message and send her a direct message on my phone. She says, I didn't feel like anything strange in that live stream. I mean, as I told you, that I had it in the background. Like, there were times that I concentrated on what I was on the phone, or sometimes I would do other things and I would stop listening to her. I mean, I stopped paying attention to what she was saying, and then I would reconnect. And I was always watching Val's lives because it was just very entertaining. Like, she's very funny, so I always watched her lives. She said she was interested in what present she was going to get. She says, I mean, of course, I was curious to know what they were going to give her because normally the gifts they sent her were always left right away. So if there's flowers, people leave them. Other things, they leave them. So it's just intriguing. She says about the moment that her friend passed this quote. So at that moment, what happened with Val, I even thought that they had like thrown confetti poppers or something at her because I saw her kind of duck. And then she went off to one side. Like, I didn't really grasp what was happening until I saw that she literally was
What's
almost
happening?
collapsing
Why is
onto
the
the
video
table.
not catching up?
She said that she had the live stream minimized to on her phone, so she's doing other things. So when I saw that she kind of ducked, I said, oh, they threw confetti at her. And then I zoomed in
Hello?
to show the full screen. And that's when I saw she was already with her hair covered to the side. So I didn't understand what had happened. I told them that I think something happened. I mean, we couldn't believe what was happening. We were so angry because, of course, they couldn't let us into the salon. I couldn't see Val. I mean, they had put up the tape by this point, but I was just in a moment of shock. I was in denial. I didn't believe something had happened to her. I was simply completely in shock. Everything was closed off. I mean, they only let immediate family in, logically, right? I don't know any other way to express what I was feeling because at that moment, tears would not. I was in shock. I mean, I didn't want to accept it. When I was in the Uber. I didn't want to accept it. I was very sad. I was very confused. I just wanted to get.
I just want to say again, if I had a friend that's apparently so important to me in my life to the point where like it's truly like a bond where there's nothing like a true bond like this, like even if I were to hear such shocking news from, no, it's true, like even if I were to hear shocking news like that from other people, okay, the closest thing I could give was would probably be one of my favorite teachers having passed, and but the thing is, of course, it's a teacher, but I was still feeling very sad about it, and did cry a little bit about it, because she was just a loving teacher. But that's the only. This is why I'm saying, like, whatever I'm saying, this is just a show of whatever you can consider as well. It's not since it's my opinion, it's not something you should take as an absolute thing for you, you know. Yeah, at least because since I don't have this type of experience with a friend in this type of way or whatever, I can only say in this type of way as I've known myself, I think I would cry. I would have some type of guttural experience if it's somebody who's, because I've had like the, you know, like the wolf meme, the like screaming, crying at the moon type of heartbreak with friends, simply for the fact that friendships ended, and not even in the way of like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore, but simply because one, I had something with a fight once, and the other one where it was just ghosted, and I just had a very strong reaction to it. That's why I would say, like, I would probably like still cry this like as I've done maybe when I got the news of my family member. And I like it's yeah, or maybe like other family members, because that of in your life you do experience that secondhand, you know, when you hear about these news in some type of way, or even as a third party, in this, no, I mean, not third party, but third perspective, I would say. But yeah, like that's why you have to watch yourself, because for me, if I already had like certain type of reactions towards just back then, at least now it wouldn't be like this anymore. um um because the thing is, sometimes, and this is a very real, like very transparent thing, of course, sometimes I think if somebody else were to die that I really loved again, and like if I were to go through this experience again, would I have the same reaction as I've had with this first, like, very strong reactions I had, or would it be different? Because I feel like if you, because at some point time sorry, at some point, sometimes I think even through this type of thing you will not react as much anymore, no matter how, I mean, yes, like, I don't know, this is the thing, because if I think about, like, let's say people that go through, the elderly, for example, the elderly are the best example. They sometimes they just outlive all their friends, all their families, sometimes not necessarily all the family, but sometimes they outlive all of the friends, especially. And from a conversation I've had once with somebody who was elderly, it didn't seem like, at least to me, like they could of course say something and not mean it in this way, but they did tell me, like, um they didn't really cry as much anymore through so much loss, even the ones that were very important to them. This is why I'm like, I don't know, like, I don't have these experiences. The more you have them, maybe it will be less of a reaction, but still you will feel the feelings, you will feel the emotions that are very present. Because this is the thing about you living, right? You can feel all these emotions and whatever, but it's always about how you react to certain things, and how you behave towards certain things, because reaction kind of equals to behavior, you know, or it does equal to behavior, because a lot of things you're doing are reactions of whatever, right? Your thoughts, the way you live, the things you hear, the things you see, and all your senses, basically. You react to certain things, and those things sometimes are also a pattern of behavior that you have built up, or unfortunately have been set up out of very various scenarios in your life. And that's where you oftentimes have to think about changing them and healing them and taking care of yourself in this type of way. This is why, like, this is so difficult. Like, if you, of course, like, do think about it again, whether or not this is the right thing that you is like the right thing or not, right? But just because you feel something doesn't mean it's okay to react in a certain way. But yeah, and I say this as somebody who's still, like, on their trying things out, whatever, you know.
I mean, I wanted to get there and see how she was because my brain couldn't process that she was no longer there. Says that she doesn't like that people have made her out to be this jealous friend when she's mourning and grieving the loss of her best friend. She says people have concocted these crazy theories in their minds about her being a jealous killer. And she says, even about like her trying to look like Valeria, she says, I never tried to look like Valeria. I always had my own style, my essence. I had always wanted to be blonde since I was little, even at like 15, 16 was the first time that I did try to style and like lighten my hair. But obviously, since my mom, she paid for it, so I couldn't paint it. So that's how I dyed my hair black again. I always liked blonde, always. I even like how it lights up my face. Like, I like how it looks on me. I mean, it's a matter of like, I like how blonde looks on me more than I like how black looks on me. But that also has to do with the fact that I haven't seen myself recently with black hair because I haven't tried it in a while. I've always admired Valeria, but it was never a thing of me wanting to look like her. I've always been very present and I've never looked at other paths. I wasn't envious of her. I didn't want to look like her. I thought that she and I had very, we were very clear to each other and very pretty in our own ways. And if I used contact lenses, if I became blonde, it was just because I liked
The
it.
video is not
Because I always
syncing. I'm so
knew what
sorry.
I am, what I like. I love contact lenses. I don't only have blue contact lenses. I have brown, green, gray. I mean, I use all of them. It's just that in most photos, unfortunately, I appeared with the blue contact lens. About clothes and the rumors of
I don't know if that's a
she says,
coincidence.
"Yes, I
If
took
it happens so
clothes,
many
of course,
times.
between friends, you send each other
Like
clothes.
maybe you
I
can,
don't let
maybe
her
you can
see
tell
mine.
yourself, but
Was
maybe it
bought from
happens
the same
unconsciously.
boutiques. It doesn't make sense. As for all their recent fights that Valeria was sharing on TikTok, she says, I mean, there was a fight over a guy issue. Okay, so there was this other
But it does
friend
look,
who was
listen, it
hanging
does look
out with
cute
all
like
of us,
this. I will keep
and
it. It just takes me a
Valeria
long time.
that friend thought Valeria was hitting on the guy that she liked. So there was this whole mess where they started to tell each other, just insulting each other, and I was present because I was there, and I didn't take a side. I didn't take a side with Valeria. I didn't take a side with anybody. So, and then I still remained friendly with the other friend, and that's like how it all happened. And she says, but it's interesting because Valeria was on live for about 55 minutes, and Vivian's orders match up closer to when Valeria's killed. So it's almost like
No, I forgot
the
one.
Starbucks drink, Little Pig, and then the
Wait,
delivery
no,
man
I was
kills
in the middle of
Valeria.
it. Was I?
People found that timing. And
I
she
think
says,
so.
I mean, I ordered both through Uber Eats. Like, you can see that.
Vicious as why does it line up so
Yes.
perfectly like
Yes,
around
yes,
the same
yes.
time?
Is what people are saying, yeah. But some people think it's like her way
It's in
of
the
making
middle.
Valeria
Wait.
just more obligated to stay and wait for the execution. I guess some people are saying, like, well, hypothetically, if I were the one calling the hit and a delivery man is like telling me they're nearby, I would send her to stay a little longer, distract her. Because I guess maybe as time goes on, Valeria is getting more and more over it, and she's just like, okay, like, I don't even care at this point. So it could be that. But Vivian says Valeria is not the type. She says in an interview, and obviously this is benefits her, so I guess you could take it how you will. But she says that Valeria is not the type that would ever stay just because of any sort of gifts. Whether it be Vivian's gifts or an expensive gift, she says, quote, because Valeria, if she really had felt in danger, even if I told her to stay, she would have left. Like, she simply just would have left. She wouldn't have listened to anybody. She wouldn't have listened to me. She wouldn't have listened to anyone. I mean, if she felt like she was safe or that something bad was going to happen to her, she would have left. I know what you're thinking, which is kind of irrelevant. Yeah. Yeah. And she's like, but I think that she was just intrigued by the gift and she was confused about knowing who it was from and what the gift was. Others say, Erica had briefly mentioned in the live stream, they said Valeria Marquez. And she was like, yeah. They're like, Valeria? And then she's like, well, this is like my boss's salon. She's stepped out. Do you recall that in the live stream? So that's what it's interesting that you bought her a stuffed pig because she was holding onto it during the live.
What am I doing?
It's very easy to identify because someone who doesn't know the difference between girls, hey, it's the one holding the pig.
That's great.
I guess people are saying it's just such a random gift. But Vivian is saying, well, no, I got a stuffed pig for her because I just wanted to make her feel better. I wanted to get her flowers, but they wouldn't deliver in time, and the stuffed pig was pink, and
but
she
why
was
would
wearing
you?
all pink, so that's why I coordinated like that. Now, aside from Vivian, there is another suspect the internet has their eyes on. So they're not just like honed in on Vivian, it's the cartels. Valeria is based in Guadalajara, which is where one of the more powerful criminal organizations is based, CJNG, Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generation, the new generation of Cartel. And she was suspected to have been dating R1's son. Now, R1, his real name is Ramon Angel Alvarez Ayala, is the leader of one of the subunits of CJNG. So this is like a
What
top
the
dog. I wouldn't say he's the
heck?
toppest, like he's at the top, but he
feel like-
runs
what?
the subunit. And
What is
I've heard
happening?
he is in
I
charge
think I
of the
forgot
subunit that
this
handles
piece.
taking people out. So it seems like a very violent subunit. So their
Mode
structure
open
is
again.
interesting. So they have
I'm so
subunits that are
distracted.
dedicated to
I will
stop
end stream in a
violence and
bit
enforcement.
after I
And then
finish
obviously they have different that are
listening
more
to this.
for the trafficking purposes, right? But he's like the head of violent subunit.
which is like what,
He's
20
also been
minutes?
linked to the murder
10 minutes
of
now?
Carlos
10
Manzo,
minutes, sorry,
who
10
is
minutes.
the former mayor of Milan, and people say that he was killed because he's not bending of the
Shooting.
Now, Valeria was allegedly dating his Francisco, who is nicknamed Narco Jr. They had seemingly a nasty breakup, which is all but confirmed with the recent arrest in this case. So, recently in Mexico, R1, the dad, was arrested on suspicion of murder of the former mayor as well as influencer Valeria Marquez.
Really?
Yeah, I know, people were so shocked.
Really? They
Yeah.
cracked down that hard?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Authorities were stating R1's son was in a romantic relationship with Valeria. He had already threatened her on several occasions, and everything indicates that the son asked his father, R1, to commit suicide. The son, Francisco Narco Jr., has not been found yet. Authorities have not been able to locate him. But why would R1's son ask his dad to help him kill his ex-girlfriend? I'm not doubting it. I'm not saying like, oh, but why would he?
Yeah,
right?
that
I'm
could
saying,
also be
like,
possible.
is there a reason? Because a lot of people are saying being entangled in the cartel life is incredibly dangerous, but you would imagine that it's impossible for these cartel higher-ups to kill every single person that they've ever been romantically involved with, and then to do it in such a public scale and in a way that a lot of psychologists believe is humiliating. To do it in the midst of a TikTok live stream for the world to see, there is a humiliation aspect.
But it
There
also
is a
is
power.
Yeah.
it's also it's like a
That's
message.
yeah,
almost.
that's why it's
and
even
like
more
and
like
it's dangerous because it does put a target on your back for authorities too, because
Yeah.
there's more pressure for them to solve the case. So a lot of people think, well, maybe Valeria knew too much about the organization, but fear.
Dijo que yo ya estaba muy usada, hasta sus celos estúpidos y todo para que al final me tratara como si fuera basura.
Some people think that Valeria was getting fed up and she was disclosing information. Allegedly, days before her death, she posted an Instagram story showing bruises on her legs, and she wrote, "It was my partner with whom I lived with. That's why I say he is my ex. And I make that person responsible for anything that might happen to me and my family, even if I have to leave." She even wrote in the broadcast, "Don't break my heart anymore because I will actually
I
break
don't
his heart."
know. It
And
feels
another
so
one that reads right
weird.
after, "Why are people so
I mean,
fucking
then
stupid?"
again, my comments
Another
mean
circulating
nothing.
screenshot is Valeria had
'Cause it's just
shared
our
the
comment.
screenshot of how she allegedly got kicked out of a club and the security guards assaulted her, leaving her covered in bruises, and it was all her ex's fault. So apparently the caption of that story that has since been posted reads, "My ex didn't like her to have fun, and the security guards told me, please leave because you don't know what he's like. I don't want to get into it." And they like dragged her out of there, and she was covered in. So it does indicate that she was dating someone who had a lot of power and they were scared. There was also another screenshot that she shared where it's text messages between her and her ex-boyfriend, which people think is Francisco, and he's telling her, "I've never showed you the other side of me, like you don't want to mess with me." And she was wondering.
See.
A lot of people, though, I will say, are relieved and happy that there is like a step closer to justice. Okay, happy is a crazy word. Relieved and grateful that there is a step closer to justice. One person comments, "Finally," but so you can arrest her friend who set her up. So people are happy, but they also think that Vivian was still involved. Like the cartel and Vivian theories were not separate from each other. The new internet theory is that Valeria's ex-boyfriend, Narco Jr., had Vivian's help in making sure Valeria stayed. And a lot of those people think that Vivian also recruited Erica to help as well. some of the other people are just indifferent to Erica, but people speculate that Vivian's new boyfriend is Narco Jr., Valeria's ex-boyfriend, and that perhaps they've even been dating prior to all this, prior to Valeria being. There were some people who like really, with cases where there's lots of internet conspiracy theories, it does take a lot of time to try and step back, because it's very natural once you start reading the same theory over and over again to kind of slip into it and say, you know what, that does kind of make sense, and then you step back to be like, okay, am I saying that because I've read so many things that sound convincing, or is there maybe any truth to it? So I really don't know, and this is a case where it just keeps spiraling, and I'm like, on one hand I could kind of see it, on the other hand it sounds crazy, but maybe it's not. Some people are saying, like, even Vivian taking Valeria's underwear, she could have been going behind Valeria's back, sleeping with Francisco, and that could have been a very, like, haha, I'm your girlfriend's underwear, my best friend, while we're sleeping together. Does that make
That's
sense?
ooh.
Okay.
And
I mean-
then sending her the pig. People are speculating if she was in on it and she wanted
would
Valeria out of
comment
the picture
more.
so she could have Francisco to herself. The pig could have also been some sort of inside joke between her and Francisco.
But in the
or just
end,
another
people
humiliating
like
aspect
us,
to add to all of
outsiders in
this.
this type of way will not
It's a
know.
big
But
theory. This is
I think it's still
very
important because
So, yes, these are the people who are fleshing out the theories, but
if you are critical thinking, okay,
even after the arrest
have the
of
brains for it.
So no one is like, oh no,
Please.
we knew it was the cartel.
Because I
Like,
do
we
know
probably
like a
knew
lot,
an ex-boyfriend was
some
involved,
things
but
are
we still think that
solved
was involved. But say that's a
because of the
huge,
internet, because there
internet sentiment
so
right
many
now.
different
But
perspectives
there's
upon
like
it.
no proof other than a few faceless pictures of Vivian and, well, a picture of Vivian hugging a guy who is faceless that people just assume is Francisco. There's really no proof, and they think that reason just makes sense. And so that same interview that she does after Valeria's death, she's asked about her own cosmetic procedures and like what she plans in the future for getting more work done. And the interviewer is like, what do you do for work right now? And she says, right now I don't work. Then how do you pay for your surgery? She says, I can't comment on that. And she's also, it's weird that she's defending Erica. So people are like, imagine the friendship that Vivian and Valeria had. If it's true, both parties, like, if Vivian thought of Valeria the way Valeria thought of Vivian, if my friend was killed on live stream and the only other person was her employee there, and she turned off that live stream in that manner, I'm gonna have my strong suspicion. I'm not going to be at least even favorable of that person, right? Like, I would really, it would have to take a long conversation with this individual to even have some sort of, basically what Erica has come out to say was she didn't want her boss to be shown that state.
So she did come up. It will happen.
That was it. She said, I just ended it because I didn't want my boss to be shown in that state to her followers. But it was just the quickness in which she ended it. People
Yeah.
are like, no, it makes sense, but it's the fact that that was like one of the first things you did. It's
Yeah, that's
kind of,
also
it just
weird.
doesn't make sense with all the adrenaline going on with all of this, and like maybe the killer is still there, or at least he's in the vicinity.
But
and
I
you
don't
turn off
know.
the live stream,
It's
so it doesn't
weird,
make
but at the
sense.
same
It seems
time,
like something
from
that you would do
what
after step 1, step 2, step
these
3.
weird
So
meme
that was
videos
Erica's
I've seen
explanation. She doesn't
often
further
is
elaborate. That's it.
like, ah ha ha ha, like you show, like you're scrolling and then you want to show somebody and then there's like somebody apparently like on the floor. I think this is also something that's because of social media happening. The first thing that you do is something about having social media, whatever, ending it, starting it, whatever,
She's in the same situation as me, where people are accusing her of things. Well, I send her lots of strength, and don't let yourself be brought down by the bad comments. At the end of the day, she knows the relationship that she had with Val, and that's what matters. And I hope that her loved ones and her friends are surrounding her. People thought that was weird. You're Valeria's friend, best friend since like 15.
Did she ever say who she thought did this?
No. Yeah, she also, when she's asked, like, was Valeria dating members of the cartel? And she says she wasn't dating anyone that would bring any trouble. Mm-hmm.
See, she clearly knows more, at that
Yeah.
point, and then if she's not being transparent about some aspect, then people's going to assume
Mm-hmm.
you're lying about more things.
So I think it's just a matter of, do people think she's lying because you don't want the on your back? Is to be like, oh yeah, no, she was dating a cartel member. Obviously, the cartel is not going to take that nicely. They're not gonna just be like, oh, okay, do your little live streams and interviews. Or is it the fact that she has further incentive to protect that information? She says, for all the people who are coming up with rumors about her, quote, broaden your minds a little more. Don't get carried away by all the things you see on the internet. Don't get carried away because people simply have a certain number of followers and they are already judge and jury to say who is guilty and who is not when the evidence they have isn't even real, it's fabricated. But some people think even that is shady. People are like, you've never once demanded justice for your friend. Like, you're not going around trying to get answers. You're just more so being like, hey guys, don't believe everything you hear when your friend is dead. Vivian has also started fighting back in the comments. One person had commented on her profile, free me from friends like you. And she responds, I don't think you have any friends. When someone asks her why she told Valeria to stay, she responds, yes, dude, I told her to stay, but for my gifts only. I never told her to stay the whole time. And then she gets frustrated and she says, just go watch the full live stream, dude. I mean,
Le dijiste que se quedara. Sí, güey, yo le dije que se quedara, pero a mí, algo, ¿no? Yo nunca le dije que se quedara, de que todo el tiempo.
like she's telling them to watch the live stream in which her friend was killed. It's just kind of odd. Now, as of right now, it appears that the authorities are Narco Jr.
I don't know. The thing
Find
is,
him
sometimes it
probably
doesn't
fine.
have to be.
I also think. and I say
Okay,
this
it doesn't matter. I'm just commenting in general.
Just like stating facts, right? But I do wonder.
There's
if
people
there
out
were
there
women
who just
watching
have a
people
horrible
before
personality,
there
no matter
would
the
have been
situation,
arrested.
because
If
they're
it was
so
just the
conditioned
death
to whatever,
of a woman,
to their own
I don't know
insecurities,
if he would have been arrested. But I think
and
maybe it's
to be like
okay,
this.
we want
Not
to
even
stand down
insecurities.
for
Some people
Joy
are just
Claire, but now we can also get some good standing with the community because we
certain type
stated
of people
about
that you don't.
Valeria. 'Cause,
That
you know, a lot
that
of
maybe
so
some
many people are shocked
professional
that they
help would be
arrested
needed,
someone
but
in the
you
first
know,
place, and that means that usually authorities don't care when a woman is murdered. So I don't know if they're searching for Narco Jr. I don't know if they're gonna find him. Maybe they're investigating if any of Valeria's friends have anything to do
because
with
I have
this.
met
I'm
some
not
people
sure.
like
One
this.
person writes,
We're
honestly,
like, yeah,
I'm just
I
surprised
don't
she's
care.
getting an
Like,
adjustment. Another person comments, I hate
no matter the
it was
relationship
so symbolic,
or
and it
like
broke my
relation
heart
in
how
general
she
with the
hugged it as she died.
person,
And what's crazy is a lot of people still blame Valeria for her own murder.
you know.
One
That's
comment reads,
that's
I
crazy.
have my suspicions. It's so sad that they end up because they just want an easy. Another response,
What?
she had it coming. She knew what she was getting involved with. She looked for her own death. God gives you free will on the
That's
path
even-
that you choose to take. Rest in peace.
You're nah.
Someone else comments, not everything that shines is gold.
I
They get
don't-
involved with criminals and then they don't like it anymore. People have been generating like AI generated images of her holding a plushie, and they write in the words, "This happened to me for being a whore. Work so you
Oh
don't
my
think you can go around
God.
being a whore and get money from a drug trafficker and then leave him as if nothing happened." Which is already a dumb, despicable message, but it makes even less sense when you realize that Valeria was killed at work, place of work. Someone even made an AI picture of Valeria laying in the morgue where she's essayed by someone dressed as the
Why?
medical examiner. And so just even in her passing, there's this whole debate. Lots of people are saying, like, why are we making her a martyr? Why are we making her the face of femicide when she was the one that decided to get involved in the house? And then other people are saying that's still victim blaming.
Yeah.
Like that's the reason why maybe she should be the face of femicide. Not that there should be a face or one face, but it's like that's enough. One person comments, the way that people are covering the femicide of Valeria Marquez fucking enrages me. Like they keep spreading videos of her murder when she gets shot. They also keep only showing photos of her in swimsuits. Like just stop. Which
That's
someone directly
weird of you
comments,
guys.
"Whores who get involved with
Ew.
narcos don't deserve any less than to be belittled even after death. Let this be an example that easy luxury is not free." One person writes, Valeria Marquez was not killed for being buchona, or for having plastic surgery, or for being ambitious, or for even dating a narco. She was murdered because in Mexico and in many parts of the world, having a male partner who lacks the tools to manage his emotions continues to be a risk factor for women. Valeria was not killed by her lifestyle. She was killed by a man who lacked emotional control, not because of how she looked, but because she said no and because she left a relationship.
It could be.
And that is where we are. Valeria Marquez's death.
I'm just feeling
I will
rage
keep
for
you
her,
guys up to
man.
date if there are any updates. What are your thoughts on this case?
I'm feeling
Do
very
you think
sorry
other
about
people
that.
were involved? Do
Oh,
you
I
think that
also
they're gonna go after
paused the
Marco
entire
Jr.?
video.
Let
Never.
me know in the comments. Stay
Whatever.
safe. I will see you.
This is where we are. I will not add any more comments to this. Basically, you heard this case, you heard my comments. These are all just, yeah, my comments to this. I do not stand on whatever type of side, because I'm like, okay, I just feel like, okay, maybe I just feel like to say that somebody lost their life and it's horrible, and whatever some people are saying, which is just what the fuck, it's not okay, and you need to think about it clearly for yourself, what you think about this entire thing, and to look and research maybe a little bit, or just look for the future further, whether or not there's going to be more results out of this. But yeah, anyway, this was the stream today. Because I'm getting frustrated with this, and I'm getting tired. Anyway, guys, that was the stream of today. Let me just everything. Hi. Well, that was kind of it, you know. Yeah. Man, it sits heavy right now. It sits a little bit heavy because I basically, no, it just sits heavy. Let's just say that. Let's process this and come back to us. Okay, stay safe, everybody. Just like Stephanie said, stay safe. Take care of yourself, and please, I hope you are able to think about certain things a bit more, and whenever you do hear such cases, and be careful about what you're commenting on and how you comment, because some things are just horrible to hear, like, regardless, and in these type of aspects where we are very connected with social media and stuff like that, plus not knowing much about other people's cultures or political things that are happening in their countries and stuff like that, all these type of things. Plus, the thing is, just because you would do this and that, in this and that situation, doesn't mean that it would be the same case for somebody else. Just because, and the same way goes for, just because you think you would react to this and whatever, doesn't mean that you will in translation later on in the very situation will behave like this. So please take care, stay safe. Thank you for watching. Yeah, maybe tomorrow stream some gaming, I don't know, but yeah, that's it. Bye guys, bye bye. Bye.